Welcome to day 2 of the Six Invitational, and we are diving right into Group D. Very excited about this EU showdown. But you know what? I'm more excited about being on the desk with Anne and Fresh. I missed y'all. How are y'all?
Good.
Having a good day 2 already?
Yeah. I'm very excited for this EU matchup. Yeah.
Okay. Fresh, I need some enthusiasm.
It's been a year, Jackie. It's been a year.
Know.
I see you for the first time in a year yesterday, and it's like, are we live? Are we live?
Oh, no. We weren't going to talk about that. I know. That was funny. I think I did okay today, though, for day 2.
We nailed
right?
it today.
Thanks. Okay, but we do have an interesting face-off to talk about. Secret versus Heroic. And like Anne was saying, we are super excited about this. Fresh, how are you feeling about this?
I can't wait. I think it's 2 teams that realistically we didn't necessarily expect to be facing off in Group D of the Invitational so far, in terms of especially Secret, a team that was, what, 9th across all 3 stages of EUL, and that we just didn't expect to see. They had a terrific performance in qualifiers, and then Heroic is a much changed team from the one that we was expecting to see here when they qualified.
Well, let's take a closer look at this matchup in a second, but first we want to begin with Secret. So take a look, roll the video. Okay, so Anne, I'm going to put you in the hot seat first. We have not seen Secret play yet at SI, but they do have a really interesting backstory. So stage 1, 2, 3, that face really describes it all there.
Yeah.
But they have an interesting qualifier story. Please tell me about it.
Exactly, yeah. Well, Fresh touched upon it real quickly. They didn't have the greatest of year throughout EUL. And if you talk about which team you'd expect to go through from those last chance qualifiers, it might have not been Secret that you think about initially. But this team had an interesting glow up going from stage 3 into those last chance qualifiers. You'll see it here with the stats on the left side in blue. There's stats for stage 3, and on the right side there's stats for the last chance qualifier. Specifically their EPS, cost, and survival rate, which we did talk about in EUL, went up massively during those last chance qualifiers. And in my opinion, it's very much deserved for them to then be here.
Every single player on Team Secret has had a mad glow up since stage 3 into, since stage 3 into those qualifiers. They were night and day, a completely different team.
I love it, glow up. Well, we were just looking at Kendrew, Slebin, both veterans, but this is actually the first international tournament for the rest of the team. So I know they have a pretty close relationship with Twister Fresh. What is he saying to you? What is he planning here?
Well, Twister's 3 years old? This is his 6th Invitational as a coach. So he's been around the block. He brings that experience. Kendrew, obviously, as you say, Slebin brings that experience. But he has revolutionized this team. He's got them playing, previously they played quite old, slow siege, trying to play for plant. They still play for the plant on the objective, but it's much more pacier. It's much faster. It's much more meta. They're bringing operators that make sense for the executes that they're going for. It's just so much better all around. And a big part of that that's been accredited by a lot of people is to Twister.
Yeah, how do you feel about Twister's coaching style? Do you think that he's bringing a lot to the team as well?
Well, I mean, if you can go for a team and bring them up this high within such a short period of time, then I think that should be credited for sure. I mean, he's been a coach on different teams before as well. We've seen globes with that team, those teams too. So yeah, I'm definitely a fan.
Okay, well, let's take a look inside the mind of this team and roll this quick interview. Take a listen.
My name is Kendrew. I play for Team Secret, and I'm a hard support IGL. We're in Group D alongside Dark Zero, FaZe, M80, and Heroic. It's a really hard group, a lot of high championship caliber teams in there. We're just going to do our best for obviously the underdog, so I don't know, just keep it a game at a time, like I said. Who I'm most looking forward to playing against is Dark Zero, because I'm a big fan of Canadian. Obviously his energy's really good. The past year for Team Secret has been pretty rough, very turbulent, a lot of roster changes, not the best of results, but it doesn't really matter because at the end of the day we're here and that's all that matters. Our preparation was, kind of cut short because we had to go through the open qualifier and the closed qualifier. So we're just going to focus on our gameplay. Our expectation is that we're happy that we're here in the first place after a turbulent year. So anything above that is fine with us. I want to wish every team the best of luck at this competition, especially Heroic, because you'll need it.
Not the most adorable person ever. I just want to give Kendra a hug. He was like, let's have a good time, Heroic, do a good job. Like, darling, I love that. Okay, but we're getting our game faces on, okay, Kendra? Now you're gonna get fierce, right? Secret, obviously ready to go, get their first game going, but Heroic is hungry for a win and definitely want to talk about them. So first I'll put you in the hot seat now. I think we gotta talk about Benjamaster leaving.
Yeah, I think...
Go on. There's a lot to say there.
Opinions on this, Jackie.
Yes.
So I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna roll. You don't even need to give me a question. I think that for Heroic is like that whole move of Sonic's buying Citizen from G2 and then G2 buying Benja. Heroic have been the org that have lost out from that significantly because they've lost their star player. They've had to regroup. You know, it's an unfortunate situation. They then go and bring in 2 new players. They bring in Noodle, they bring in Oscar, and then Oscar obviously can't come to this event. So in comes a trusty old hand in Sloth, and it's kind of like there's so much disruption for this roster. I don't know how you have any expectations for them.
Yeah, I also want to talk to you a little bit about the tight battle against Dark Zero last night. I don't think people were expecting them to do as well, to be honest. What did you think of their performance?
I actually thought it was very encouraging, to be honest, given the status of Heroic. They got that first map win, they really upset Dark Zero, and they should have got Chalet as well. Over the course of that best of 3, Heroic got so many entry picks. They were actually 3rd for entry picks in the entire competition yesterday, but they couldn't convert the entry picks. That was the big problem that they had yesterday. I spoke to them in the elevators after the game. They were absolutely livid that they lost that best of 3. They thought they should have won it 2-0.
Well, it's a new day, and I definitely want to talk to you about Noodle and Sloth. You know, in ways they were thrown into the Lion's Den, thrown into SI at the last minute with this team. I think a lot of eyes are going to be on them. What do you think about these 2 players?
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, it's no secret that with the departure of Benja, you lose a lot of frag and power. Obviously, Mello leaving the team as well. You will need to get some of that frag and power back. And, well, Sloth's been on the team before. He's not unfamiliar with them. He was one of the more entry type of players on this roster before as well. But if you specifically talk about Noodle as well, what Mr. Officer has been saying is he does bring a lot of passion and commitment, but he's also a really good shot caller. Where have we seen this before? A younger player with a fresh mindset coming into a team, assisting an IGL with a little bit of shot calling, and then that team to go on and do really well. I'm looking at you if you have an idea.
Is that a French player, Anne?
Yeah, it's a French player, yeah.
Go. Is it Leaky Fat?
But I was indeed talked about him. Yeah, we've seen this before where a fresh mindset in a team with some shot calling can help a team really glow up.
Okay, so we're looking at our teams right now. They are getting ready. What do you think their mindset is right now? Secret, obviously, you know, they're gearing to go. This is their first appearance here at SI. Heroic, they're coming off of that tough loss. So what's their mindset?
I think both teams will genuinely be happy once this best of 3 is done, because both teams represent a tricky opponent to each other, because neither of them really have expectations for the event. If you look at Team Secret, like Kendra said, no expectations. The same with Heroic. They've got 2 new players, so there's no expectations there.
Okay, and as you can see, our map and info is up on the screen. And thoughts?
A small concern I might have had with Secret is that they might have a smaller map pool. They have some permabans, and then Heroic might have a little bit of a bigger map pool. But the first pick that we're going to is Clubhouse from Heroic. Secret have actually won 2 out of 3 games on that in recent history, and it also has their best attack and win rate. For Heroic, it's kind of a 50-50 in regards to performance, but they also have their best attack and win rate. But it is also a map that they tend to ban sometimes. I'm a bit surprised by this one, we could say.
I think both teams are taking a long-term view at the other team and looking at what is their weakest or one of the weakest maps over a very long-term view. Because Secret, for a long time, didn't play Clubhouse. They now do. And Secret, again, they didn't play Oregon, and Heroic don't play Oregon. It's only very recently Secret have brought it in. But we've got to talk about the deciding map. The deciding map of Bang, through stage 3, was the only map that Team Secret could win in EUL. It was the only one they were getting over the line on. So for Heroic, it feels like an absolute blunder to allow Bank through that banning phase.
Yeah, I mean, if we do talk about those victories, they were all 8-7s. And they did also take a loss against TT9 on Bank later into Stage 3. So yes, it was one of the better maps for Secret, but there's also a lot of footage on how Secret used to play on that map. Oregon then, once again, I want to touch up on as well. It is a pick from Secret. They did 7-4 Outsiders on that map in the last chance qualifiers, but it was picked against them. And yes, indeed, like you mentioned, it is Heroic's most banned map. They don't really like this map, and they haven't really had any games on it in recent history.
Okay, so we've talked at length about the maps. Predictions time. Fresh? Oh, no, Fresh is like,
Take me out the hot seat, but I did it first.
I'd like to see Heroic take this. You know, obviously coming off the mindset that they did lose that game yesterday, and they felt like they should have won it. With them, obviously, you know, maybe having a bit of a better chance going into this map ban phase, with me having said that, you know, Secret have a bit of a smaller map pool. Yeah, I'd like to see Heroic win this.
How's your bracket doing?
My predictions are not going
Mine is not going
mine
well.
are in the mud, but it's okay. I like it. There's a few upsets. I'm really not upset about it.
Okay, what are you thinking, Fresh?
Well, look, if Secret played the way that we saw Secret play in qualifiers, I think they will be going into this as favourites. And I think the map ban suits them. Because they clearly play Oregon. We saw that in the LCQs, and Heroic don't. And they love Bank. So I think at least those two maps, they might not get it over the line in Clubhouse, but those two maps, I would back Secret probably 2-1.
All right, well, we cannot wait to get things rolling. Our teams are almost ready to go here, so let's hand it over to Intero and Pengu. Also, we got Stream B pre-show soon stuff coming, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Thank you so much. The Command Center. I'm still getting used to calling it the Command Center. Thank you very much, Jackie. An excellent analysis from both Anne and Fresh. We're really delighted to have the analysts that we have here so far, Nick, and be able to hear all of them speak, and to set the scene for Heroic versus Team Secret. Now, Team Secret made their way in through the qualifiers. They're the last team to qualify for this event. They've got two really familiar names and a third familiar name, but that's not the player that you're thinking of. Astro.
Okay.
But it's the wrong Astro.
The wrong Astro.
You'll know Kendrew and you'll know Sleben, but outside of that,
I mean, Sleben's very famous, right? He's got a
super power play.
Exactly, a song made after him by.
I miss Panari.
I was gonna say, Panari's a legend.
I really miss Panari.
Oh, I mean, Secret in the qualifier, they were storming through the competition. They went undefeated in the close qualifier, 2-0 against Na'Vi, 2-0 Outsiders, and then the grand finals again, 2-0 Outsiders. So I expect them to come into this. I mean, we saw Kendrew's interview. He said, no expectations really. We're gonna take it nice and easy breezy. But honestly, I expect them to be quite confident and aggressive in their matchups against any opponent. And if they can play freely without any sort of pressure, not too much pressure at least, I expect them to play in a similar fashion to that as online.
I mean, a lot of teams are going to tell you that they're not playing with a ton of pressure on their shoulders.
Yeah, but then they still play like.
But then they still, yeah, and then, you know, they're at the bar later drinking their sorrows away.
Okay.
And it's like, oh, I'm so upset that we lost. And it's like, well, of course you're upset that you're lost. I know that you don't take it seriously, but let's be honest with ourselves. Yana and Dokkaebi, the first two operators banned out on Clubhouse. We've seen a lot of Solus bans. We've seen a lot of Azami bans. We've seen Valk and Mira bans.
Yep.
Are we going to see any Funke things here?
I mean, the Iona, we did see it.
Look, they just took all this time and they still banned Azami.
Sometimes you gotta make sure that it's the right thing to do, right? Like, this was a fast one. What is that gonna be? Well, that's a Kaid. I mean, that's...
Clubhouse makes sense.
It makes sense, but I will always make the argument that you have secondary MPs, that's yours open, you don't really need to ban the Kaid, but if there's nothing else that you really want to get rid of, you might as well. When you go on the attacking side, then you have more freedom on your operator lineup, and or you also might just not want to care about playing that particular operator, but your opponent might. So it's not a bad ban by any means, but it is less common to see banned these days.
There used to be a period of time where Kaid was a must ban, and then Thatcher would end up being banned, but yeah, you've got no shortage of hard breachers, you've got no shortage of secondary hard breachers, then most importantly, you have those secondary EMPs to boot.
Yeah, and you got quite a lot of operators that actually has those secondary EMPs that you wouldn't really think of. Sledge, for example, being one of them. Nook being the other. They actually have secondary EMPs as an option, but they also have grenades, so like you really shouldn't be doing that in the perfect world. However, Sloth will show us the Thatcher originally, but use that attack or repick mechanic to go onto a Ying instead. And Park, you know, we cast Heroic yesterday against Dark Zero, and we were very critical of their lack of execution style operators. And in the very, very, very final round against Dark Zero, they brought Ying, they brought Monty, and they lost the round, right? It was way too late to change gears. But Heroic now, on Clubhouse against Secret, are starting off on a very different note in terms of team style approach to this opening round. And I think it's a good approach for them because it clearly wasn't clicking yesterday to the degree that they wanted.
I think we're at an appropriate time to start citing the map stats for this event. I mean, there's not much that you can glean from these maps when they've only been played once or twice, but we're starting to see maps get played 4 or 5 times. Plus, as we go deeper into this event, Clubhouse has been played 4 times so far. The defenders win 56% of the rounds. The attackers win 44% of the rounds. As much as you might think that it might be, Grubby got a little bit scared there. He got shot and just reflexively just fired through a soft wall, hip fire. Hold on a second here. Look at how quick Heroic is to get in here. I'll stop for a second because Heroic have already picked up 2 very quick kills on both Savage and Astro. Jum is down below. He's waiting for a call to be made. This is not a CCTV cache take, but that's the part of the map that they are taking right now before Heroic can then move over to assault that gym portion. Grubby's going to get quite aggressive. And down goes Grizzly, the first casualty for Heroic.
Yeah, that's going to be, you know, an ace off the board. We got more Harpies in the opponent to spare, and Secret, they keep up the aggression.
That's another kill on behalf of Heroic. The pitter-patter sounds of that suppressed LMG from Ying. An iconic sound in this game. Say goodbye to the Alda, another iconic sound. Grubby and Sleben, the last 2 left alive. Sleben on these support roles. For those of you that only watched Sleben back in his days of playing, well, on the Sonics, actually.
Yeah.
A team that has been very good so far in this event. You would be shocked to see him playing the, as we call them, old people roles.
Sure.
Don't say sure.
It's
You know
not
it's
the
right.
old person.
You know it's right.
It's not.
I was like, just because that's the role you played.
Yeah, and I was like 19 when I started, so that doesn't make any sense. When it's a young person role, though, it's Noodle on Ash and Sloth on the Ying, and they're about to go crazy on this bomb site. No frost on the board, so no traps to catch them when they jump on in.
There go the Candelas, some smokes to cut off lines of sight. Sloth will use that to his advantage, but there's a toxic canister to answer it. Play going down, and Grubby gets picked apart from 2 separate angles. He's finished off. Sleben, amidst the blindness and the lights pulsating inside of the site, is left in a very hard spot. 1v4, diffuser down. What can the smoke accomplish here? Upside down repel takes a big portion of his life away, and then Uno finishes things off. Finn versus Finn. Heroic taking round number 1.
And convincingly so. And I mean, Secret, they did play with confidence. They played very aggressive, and I'd almost argue too aggressive in that particular round. Kendrew got caught and connected with the wall open, the window behind them as well, and had to fight 3 different locations at once, or just simply walk back towards the bomb site playing the Maestro. So, could be a different approach to Secret, but I expect him to try and keep being a problem for Heroic in the early stages of the round. It is where Heroic struggle against Dark Zero as well, finding openings, getting map control, etc. And of course, in the opening round that we just saw, they got 2 kills that made life very easy for them. That's not going to happen every single time, and Solis being brought on out. We see this operator on Clubhouse being brought so frequently because the information game from drones is extremely important, and you can get drones up towards the top floor during this prep phase. Solis can then go upstairs, chase them, find them, etc. And then you have to re-drone the entirety of the top floor again to have actual useful information. Or in Heroic's case, don't even drone inside the building at the risk of losing your drones in the first place, therefore going in blind from the very beginning of the round.
Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
Now that I think we might be safe to talk about these numbers, I'm going to go back to them here. Okay. Clubhouse has been played 4 times, 56% of all of the rounds won by the defense. Attackers won 44%. I know that might not seem like a lot, but 56% usually means that we're looking at 3-3 to 4-2 pretty much every single half in favor of the defense. The most defender-sided bomb site in terms of raw numbers is Cache CCTV.
That's surprising.
83% of the time, which amounts to 5 of the 6 times that it's been played so far, but it's also been the least played bomb site. So it's not the most reliable data. Bar stage has been played 7 times, only won by the defense 3 times, so the attackers have the upper hand there. Master Bedroom and Gym and Church and Arsenal have been played the most. Church Arsenal, the bottom floor bomb site, 9 times it's been won by the attackers, 9 times it's been won by the defenders. As for Master Gym, very defender-sided bomb site, the second most defender-sided. Out of the 10 times it's been played, it's been won by the defense 6 times. Hold on a second, we're going to see another rush again. Never mind. They're going to try to take advantage of whatever calamity they think is going on here with Secret. Jum is just going to run right in. Nitro Cell goes off, and Secret actually finds a couple kills, but it's answered back immediately by Heroic. Jum in particular, picking up 2 of those. Now it's Noodle to get a single kill. 1 more awaits him. 2 potentially, they're both here. Both by the stairs. Noodle picks up a second kill, and it's Grubby all on his lonesome, lighting him up, but Noodle turns around and swiftly subtracts his head from his shoulders. A real mathematician. 2-0 Heroic.
That is a different Heroic than we saw yesterday, I have to say, both in terms of their spirits on the player cams with some laughs and some smiles, but also in their actual gameplay performance. We did not see this kind of performances against Dark0 whatsoever. The sheer confidence and relying on each other with that rush and not even flinching when things kind of went south for a moment there. They stuck to the plan and just had every single angle covered. The bar hatch run back, the main stairs, etc. Blue flank. The only thing that was kind of questionable was the diffuser management, but that's because the person carrying that diffuser case died to that C4 earlier in the round, and if you just waited 5-10 more seconds, that would have been picked on up, and then the plan can start going down. So a 2-0 lead for Heroic, very convincingly so far.
Yeah, well played by how quickly they are. There's some conversation actually on Twitter for those of you that do use social media. There's a conversation that was started by NJR from Dark0, who said, why are people consistently dying with a black mirror in their pocket or a castle barricade in their pocket? I beg you to put down your utility. And good old Nightmare Nix jumped in and said, with the meta being as quick as it is, there are times when you have to make a call to stop doing prep because your opponents are already in the building, and even though they might not be quick to the bomb site, you can't find yourself in that position where you're reinforcing something, you're putting up a castle barricade, and you die. So if you're one of the newer teams and you're still dealing with roster issues, which, by the way, Heroic's the team that should be getting bulldozed by Secret. You'd expect them to be quite quick and think, okay, maybe they don't really know what's going on right now. They're still adjusting to a new roster. Let's just get in the building fast and kill them. Heroic seems to have gotten that memo. I wonder if Secret will start to make any adjustments here.
Well, it's similar equivalent to that in the past, where as the smoke or mute player, you have to make rotations on the bomb site, but also reinforce 2 walls with the old reinforcement system. We had 2 each, and then you sometimes just wouldn't have certain, rotations being made because there is no time to shotgun and rotate 20 seconds into the live round in case of a rush. That's essentially a different form of what you see here with utility instead, because of how fast the meta game can be. First 2 rounds, very chaotic, very quick. Now we see no action. Everyone is full HP with 1 minute and 40 seconds left to go into the round, and nothing's really been done from either team. Soft Roam fell back early. Heroic, they're checking all their corners, droning everything out, even all the way down to the strip club to make sure that there is nobody hiding. Then phase 2 now is activated, right? That is going to be setting up, breaching open the right walls, the right hatches, etc., which puts you to step number 3. That's going to be the execute, where Heroic wants to strike on the bomb side, A or B, and try and get down that diffuser. Now, the Armory triple wall is bandit tricked by the Bandit of Astro, so that's going to be very hard to get past if you are Heroic. Most teams, they opt for a kitchen hatch execute in towards the B bomb site that you see here, but Heroic, they haven't even touched the kitchen at all. That's not what they're aiming for by the looks of it.
They'd go for a straight church wall execute, control blue, and just hope to God that whoever's at the bottom of the main stairs can watch that part of the map that is directly under the floor of kitchen, also known as that arsenal portion of the map, where the bomb site actually ends up being. Oh, look at this. Jum is so close. If Grubby pushes up to engage on the blue stairs, Jum will win this engagement. Oh, and there you go. But Jum is so patient. Not a single death for Jum yet. He and Noodle are the 2 that have yet to die. Secret starting off with 2 great kills, but Jum finally drops. And he's playing the wrong side of Ring Around the Rosie. Astro has his teammates back and gets yet another over towards Moto. Savage cleans up, and that round is over in the blink of an eye. 10 seconds of dedicated action, and that's enough to knock Heroic out of the round.
Yeah, and as we saw Heroic, they chose to go for that Armory, Blue, take, execute, and they just lost gunfights, right? We saw the first member inside that pit, inside the blue hallway, fell to a P5 from Grubby, and then Joom dropped the hatch, tried to get a trade going. He got the one onto Grubby, but then there are 3 secret members swinging back right at him. Astro got a double kill from Blue, and the round is over as the last member of Heroic is on the bottom main stairs in a Toxic Babe, just ticking down in terms of health bar. And that means we're gonna go back upstairs instead to Gym. Still no Frost being brought out, nor the castle. This is very atypical for pretty much any region. We almost always see Frost in this bomb site because you got the gym window, the master bedroom window. There are so many windows to jump in from. There we go, connector window. And if there's a frost mat below it, yeah, keep showing all the windows. And if you jump in and you don't shoot the frost mat, obviously you'll get injured. And if you jump in and shoot the frost trap, you're giving off a sound cue by shooting those bullets that you are indeed jumping in that set window. That means that defenders don't have to actively swing and peek the windows aggressively for information. They can rely off sound and listen to that frost trap gets destroyed, then go for a swing in an advantageous position and likely win their gunfight on their own. Savage might get cheeky with a spawn peek. No C4, has barbed wire, so can't do anything with the self-destruction. But could, of course, open up that door and go for a run out if he wants to. Or walk away.
I like seeing the play that teams do down in Strip Club. Could be a very critical spot to hold if it's a gym master defense or if it's a bar stage defense. That last one in particular, you tend to see a lot of teams holding up there. Was it TSM, Nick, who, while defending the basement bomb site,
oh, the strip extension?
had Geo upstairs
Yes.
and strip? Yes, that was a beautiful thing to see.
It was against Empire, and Empire could not... Well, did it before the Empire match as well, but even though Empire had studied it, they also couldn't really figure out what to do with it, and it was round-defining multiple times last SI. I mean, the entire TSM run at SI 2022 was a miracle run, to be honest. It was ridiculous. It was just turning it on 100%.
And unfortunately,
they're not here.
they're not here.
Oh, that's a shame. Next year. This year, however, Secret are fighting for their lives upstairs, getting shoved from below from Doom. He's gonna fall, but Noodle trades it back. It's a 4v4 still, but they're in the bomb site now as Noodle leads the charge.
A very, very quick one. Maybe a bit of a pause, actually.
Yeah, but they're not even fighting.
Savage decides to go for the pre-fire, missing out on an opportunity, but he gets Sloth on the stairs. Look at Noodle. Do they know that he's there? I don't think they do. Uno dies because of it, but now Noodle can emerge out of nowhere. Savage finds kill number 2. It's all up to Grizzly. Last man for Heroic. Team Secret coming alive. It's a strong start, but it's fallen apart at this point. Secret put 2 in a row, look far more confident, and they've done it on the 2 bomb sites that they lost the first time around.
I think Kenter is screaming, move at Heroic.
I heard that as well, yeah.
Yeah. Something saying, what are you doing? Move! But really odd pacing in the round because Heroic finds themselves in the midst of the bomb site and they think Secret knows that they've done it. So Noodle plays passive inside the bathroom stall, just tucked in a corner. But it turns out that Secret didn't seem to have any idea he was there. So when Uno walks in behind him, unfortunately, he falls instead. Then Noodle makes his move, but then he gets the initial kill, gets traded back right after. And I don't blame Heroic for the kind of confusion of that round because it's one big guessing game, essentially. Nothing really made sense. It's not what I expected, at least, if I would have been in that round either. The Secret, they thrive in the chaos time and time again. They're gonna show us bar. I don't believe you and I have cast a bar round so far.
No, we have not.
We have not.
7 bar stage plays so far through this event. At least as of just now, refreshing the page.
In the,
I can't speak for the other stream, because I don't know what's going on over there.
That's fair.
But I can just speak for the numbers I have in front of me. And like I've said before, the numbers don't lie.
But sometimes you do. That's what you normally add to it, right?
No, I don't lie.
Oh, sorry. No, okay.
The numbers don't lie.
But
I go out of my way to not lie.
okay.
I tried to do everything to avoid it.
That's good. That's a healthy thing to practice, I would say.
I think everybody lies, though.
I was gonna add that everybody.
I mean, I don't think there's a single person on this planet who's never lied once in their life. Maybe a baby,
But can they even talk? Like, does that count?
but they've never lied. So I mean, I suppose.
I suppose, yeah.
But anyway, I'm just trying to set expectations here. All right.
Yeah, that's fair.
Is Slevin gonna go for this? Oh, a sledge out on the window, and Slevin is not looking in the right direction. Sloth's kill number 2 gets up top. A minute off the board. That was a sneaky play by Slevin.
A bit of hesitation from Slepen though. If you hear the repel and you hear the hammer god animation wise, you gotta probe the other window instantaneously to get that freebie, so to speak. Otherwise you become the free kill instead. And Bar, the way you defend it, you go upstairs simply as we see Team Secret do, but that's kind of falling apart every second so far. We have 3 members upstairs, Kendra making a big rotation. The bomb site itself is completely vacated, but because of all the vertical holes that they've made above and the information on the bomb site itself, that means you can't just go for it because you might just die from above.
Savage posted up in the bathroom. Again, this is a very powerful spot to play in. Nice shot on the Sloth. They make it look so easy with Savage's play. 7 kills so far. He's been on an absolute tear. Does he know that there's somebody outside? Now he does. Down goes Savage to Joom, and it's Kendrew last alive. Super Shorty his way back to the stage. All the world's a stage right now, and Kendrew's the star. Down goes Noodle. 3 more stand in the way of a Team Secret lead for the first time in this entire map. But where does Kendrew go? Does he just wait here, posted up underneath the gym hatch?
They're gonna bleed him out. Just drone him, play it nice and slow, make him lose all that adrenaline, right? Let him bleed out really, and then you strike when he's no longer ready for it.
2 drones in right now. Actually, all 3 are on drones at the exact moment. Oh, and they seem to know, but they haven't got him. That's another kill from Kendrew, and he can just hide. He only has 12 seconds. He had another drop. He engages, but the UMP, it's not always the gun that you want in your hands in a multi-kill situation.
Nice shot, Chris. Fucking hell.
Honestly, a valiant effort from Kendrew, but not much you can do when you've got 2 other players breathing down your neck. Heroic deny Team Secret the lead.
And they're building up those attacking victories. You mentioned that this was a defender-sided map, but Clubhouse is all about execution in the end, so the different playstyles of various teams will influence those numbers greatly, and of course, the specific matchups. I reckon that the way Heroic's been going so far, they can make it 4 if they really push for it, but it's going to be a basement against the Mira and a Bandit, so that armory attack they did last time likely not going to work out. They'll have to change things up. Whereas Team Secret, the question for them is, will they actually contest the room a bit more and stay upstairs for longer, burn some time, kill some drones, maybe get a kill? Or do they just surrender that entire roam game like previously and just play passively on the bomb side? Looking at the operators, for a brief moment there, you might have called it, Sloth was hovering the blitz, signifying maybe a dirt push or a rush of a sort, but they're gonna go to a Thatcher instead to open up the opportunities of opening up any wall their heart desires, because Bandit is being played actively, just like that previous time.
Final defense now, back downstairs to Church they will go. I do find it, despite the numbers, a bit odd that there would be no CCTV cache defense, right? I mean, it is the most played bomb, or it's the second most played bomb site. No, actually, it's the least played bomb site.
The least played, but most successful, right?
It's the most successful, least played. Yes, that's correct. I got my numbers backwards.
I was gonna say, in the last,
I was like, hold on a second here.
Everybody lies.
I was like, I mean, I did the same thing yesterday when it was like I was looking at Secret, and I was like, yeah, Heroic, they made it in through the qualifiers, and then not even a second later, my brain was like,
oh no,
I read the wrong thing on my notes. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, we're all human. I mean, the thing is, if you go back 2 months, nobody was playing CCTV at all, because it was a terrible bomb site. Now it's slowly seeing play again, but not that frequently.
Oh.
What?
Nice shrewd play from above.
Oh, all the way through.
Astro opens it up, gets a long line of sight down. Look at this, though. Right next to him, Kendrew's there. Grubby the first kill for Secret in the round. Back at the Black Mirror. Grubby's home in the previous Church Arsenal defense was downstairs.
This is huge. Kendrew has gone undetected.
And just a single one tap. Is another player from above, though? No, he just takes out Noodle. Still up there, and this will obviously rattle them to their core. Kendrew taking some damage. He's got to get out of this position. It's a precarious spot to be in. He's about to meet the one member of Heroic creeping on up. There's the pre-fire, but Kendrew wins that duel. There's a shotgun on the red stairs as well, those main stairs. Heroic are in a really rough spot. Uno and Grizzly are full HP, but they've got 4 players from Secret to find, Nick.
They do, and it only gets worse. 7C4 takes out Uno, and Kendrew finishes the job.
Wow.
That should not be allowed by Kendrew to stay alive that long upstairs. Of course, the first problem there is that he never got droned out, so he never was found out. That's problematic. Secondly, then Heroic, they didn't really play it together, right? You remember come up the main stairs very aggressively right there. You see Slav, and there's no follow because Grizzly was still in the connected door, just about to enter master bedroom. Essentially, if the main stairs guy holds the main stairs, then you know he's up top somewhere. Then you let Grizzly do the entry job. You figure out what room, and then you can take him out.
First half in the books. 3 bomb sites were played. Gym bedroom up on the top floor played twice. Bar stage played once. Church down below. The bomb site that is about to be played a 4th time was played 3 times on the first half. In terms of win rates, Gym was won once by the attackers, once by the defenders, a perfect 50-50 split. Bar stage was won by the attackers. Church was won by the defenders twice, the attackers once. So that 50-50 bomb site coming into today, that Church Arsenal bomb site, was a defender-sided bomb site out of the 3 times it was played. But again, we don't have a ton of stats to go off of. In terms of opening picks, it was that sandwich again. Heroic got the first 2 opening duels, Secret the next 2 opening duels, and then the final 2 opening duels went to Heroic. Diffuser was planted by Heroic as well, so some objective play. But mostly every round was decided by kills. As you can see, the scoreline, 3-3.
Dead even. Curious to see how Secret's objective play will be on Clubhouse. Obviously, the go-to way of playing this map is to go try and get a plant down, but it's not the only way to play Rainbow Six Siege. You can go for kills, as we see time and time again. They are bringing 1, 2 Heart Breachers and the secondary can opener in the pocket of Savage on the buck. So they have plenty of Heart Breach destruction at their disposal, vertical play, etc. Heroic also doing the same thing as Secret, bringing both the Mira and the Bandit to make Church a hard area to attack on the map. So the main defense here is to worry about Blue, Dirt Tunnel, and the Kitchen Hatch in terms of operators, whereas Utility covers Church instead.
First 2 rounds on that attack that we saw, by the way, of Heroic, were blisteringly fast. They were in the building and immediately exerting their influence, but not any longer. No, this is now them on defense. Secret are not matching that same pace. And we also saw Heroic slow down quite a lot, and they played a tempo that was probably more, I suppose you could say, favorable to this Secret team. Secret are dotting their I's and crossing their T's. This is the typical club take that we see. Carve out the floor in the hallway leading to kitchen, take out the kitchen floor, make Arsenal and the hallway between it and Church extremely hard to defend.
Yeah.
Gonna force the defenders back towards AK, as it's called, and dummies. And then, if you have 1 person on attack go through Blue, you can gain the attention of them, and then, you know, be able to attack Church. There's a Nitro Cell tossed out. EMP goes as well, but the Selma from Grubby actually misses. We saw that secondary EMP go off. This time it looks like it will connect.
It's problematic. I mean, Grizzly, he's in a world of hurt here, but he's staying alive in the wall. The Bandit charge, so they can't get through them.
Damage being done to both Noodle and a Grubby. Ooh. Astro's made his way into Blue. This is what we talked about. You push all the defenders back, and then you go through Blue, and it's really not that much of a challenge. Grubby's in the middle of the bomb site, as is the Diffuser. Joom, the very first kill for Heroic. It's on to Sleben, but Secret dominate the kill feed and the round. Astro collecting the last 2 kills. He's been phenomenal. Secret takes the lead.
You're so shit! Let's go.
Beautiful Blue execute,
Get back in FPL, Zoom.
I have to say.
Yeah, that's right. It's panic station. Yeah, go on, Murad.
Mike looks down. I don't know if there's a timeout that's been called. We'll get confirmation. Yep, sorry, just getting confirmation. Heroic has called a tactical timeout. So even though Heroic are the ones who called it, Secret are still able to speak too. So that's why Twister behind the team is talking to them.
They don't know how to react. So just use this knowledge that they are a new team to abuse it to just kind of game crazy shit.
Let's get into their faces, guys. We're just waiting for them to execute. We're saying we can't peek them. Fucking go peek it, you know? Let's fucking do it.
So two competing ideas here.
Yeah, very
First
much
piece
so.
of advice from Twister. They're a new team. Take the fight to them.
Yeah.
Overrun them. Uno, let's get in their
face.
faces.
Yeah. I love hearing that, honestly, I really do. Those small snippets of information. Twister was saying that they can't really adapt to just like fight them, but Uno is like, get in their face. It's like, yeah, they're really clashing on these fronts, and I think every time we listen to Heroic in their tactical timeouts or between rounds and voice comms, it's always Uno saying, believe in yourself, confidence, fight back, take risks. When they went to overtime against Dark Zero yesterday, the first thing he said, guys, it's 0-0, don't worry about the pressure. If you want to take a risk, it's the same as when when the game just started. Don't let this overtime situation affect you. So Heroic, in terms of their mentality and their philosophy, they clearly want to be an aggressive team, taking these opportunities every chance they got. But it's not always the case because they have these moments where they just freeze up and nothing really happens from them. If you saw how Team Secret just attacked that basement bomb site against Heroic, they stormed down blue. The moment that initial kill went out, they just rushed on in, motor door, church breach, down the blue staircase, etc., and just collapsed on Heroic. When Heroic attacks the basement, if nothing really starts happening, they're not the ones who typically force it out, besides Doom as an individual who can't always be that hero player for his team.
I think that Twister's idea is very spot on.
I agree.
I mean, this is a new team. For Heroic, they don't have the players that they want, right? Sloth is coming in as an emergency sub of sorts. They're still gelling as a squad. The more you pressure them, the more you should start to see cracks in the fundamentals that they have. How quickly can Secret be? Because that was the same strategy that Heroic took. They took the fight to Secret very quickly on, and it worked well. Astro, the leadoff pick, on to Noodle. Another exothermic charge is going to go down, but there will be a successful bandit trick. But look at this. Look at this! Savage has just made his way up top, and he's now in the bathroom. He's got them all by surprise. Secret again dominating the kill feed. Heroic has something to say about that. Grizzly and Sloth, the last two. The animals on the team. Nade goes off. Sloth inside of construction. Grizzly in closet and logistics. Drone goes in. Sloth gives his position away, and he knows at a disadvantage he has to take the gunfight. Savage gets pounced on by Grizzly, and it's a mauling inside of the bedroom. Secret had a good start to this round. They could still yet turn around and win it. But Heroic have a significant advantage in terms of HP.
I do. Getting the plant down here is arguably possible, not really ideal, and jumping in this window in particular is going to be a tall task for Kenju, so the members of Secret very much isolated. Nashor with like one single HP left in his bar, can't do much here.
There goes Grizzly. Astro, even with a tiny bit of HP, he can do some serious damage, and he gets 2 kills again.
So my God, I'm 1 HP. I'm 1 HP. Astro, you're the guy. Let's go. Bro, I'm just fucking so bad.
Over the last 6 rounds, Team Secret has won 5 of them, and they have put together a very impressive body of work. Now, as far as my understanding was, this was Heroic's map pick. The overlay at the top is suggesting that it's Team Secret map. So we'll wait for confirmation, and when we know that, we can use it to give you a better understanding of why these teams are playing the way they are. If this really is Heroic's map pick, and Team Secret is bullying them 5-3, yeah, that's not great. Because then that means the next map, which would then be Team Secret's map pick, is Oregon. And we did just get confirmation. This is, in fact, Heroic's map pick.
That's tough.
So, Heroic picks this map, and they are currently getting slaughtered over the last couple rounds. And Team Secret only seem to be improving the more that time goes on. Bear in mind that after the very first round of this second half, Heroic did call that timeout.
Yeah.
Did not pay off. It was a closer round. Did not pay off.
Also, just respect to Savage for, you know, going back to the tactical timeout. Twister goes, do something crazy. They can't really react that well. Next round, basically Savage in the bomb set out of nowhere, just creating all this chaos. And Heroic, they did struggle to reacting accordingly and figuring out how to get back into the round. They made it a 2 vs 2, but that's not quite close enough. Uno and Maestro in the basement of all places find Savage for absolutely free. I'm not sure what Uno is doing down there, to be honest. He's not an Echo, but a Maestro. But nonetheless, he gets a free pick.
Yeah, not an ideal spot to find yourself in when you die.
No, not quite. I mean, Uno wants to be alone in the basement on cameras, but Savage said, no, you don't. But then there's no drone, no information. Therefore, Savage can't quite fight back.
Is it that one speed of Sledge?
Oh, right. So loud and chunky now.
Chonky boy.
Chunky boy.
Chonky Kong. I was just trying to think of anything that rhymes, but...
Yeah. I don't know what I would have gone with, to be honest.
Well, you said Chunky Boy, but I just said that as well.
Yeah.
Kendra doing as he always does in that very aggressive support role. Every single team that he's played on, he's almost always competing for top frag. 8 kills to his name. Astro's also been phenomenal. Through the window, Heroic have watched Noodle get downed. No secure is possible right now. Grubby's looking for it. He can feel it. But Heroic's playing these shrewd angles. Sloth, a bit unpredictable. He guns down one, down goes Noodle. And a run out from Sloth will get the down onto Grubby and a secure before he's traded out by Sleben. Advantage still very much in Heroic's court, but they just lost another. Suddenly it's a 2v2. Team Secret have a very real possibility of moving us to map point.
They have.
Plenty of time too, 1 minute to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bar defense. I mean, Uno might see some action soon. I can't believe Slav jumps out, goes for a full-on reload, and then gets that one bullet off to finish the kill, and gets taken out right after. That could have been a disaster had that gone just a 1 second longer, because then Slav doesn't get this get the kill secure, and Grubby stays alive for the 3v2 instead. It is a 2 vs 2. It's anyone's game for this round. 35 seconds left. No C4 in pocket of Grizzly. No impacts on Uno. It's a 2v2 raw battle between guns because there's no utility on any members of this round. You got Evil Eyes, but
yeah,
they're also kind of a gun because they also shoot.
Kendra will drop. This is a very familiar position for him. Does he know that the Maestro camera is here? Default cam goes. Kendra getting the diffuser down. Uno off of the cam. Grizzly firing away, sustaining serious damage in the process. Uno might be able to make it in, and there you go. He's got marks up above from the Prisma too. Sleben in trouble. No utility whatsoever. This is just going to be a pure fist fight. Grizzly on the flank, and from above, Sleben trying to do damage. Grizzly is there, Heroic. Well, doing exactly what their name suggests. They win the round. They hop on the diffuser. And it's business as usual. No real celebration and a very different attitude.
Yep.
And when Team Secret wins the round and they get rambunctious.
Yeah, I mean, we see it from, every team has a different atmosphere. We always know that Latim, they get very loud every chance they can, right? Also for that mental warfare against their opponents, it can be hard to play against in terms of like your headspace and where that's at. Dark Zero, we saw them yesterday. They were showing basically zero emotions throughout the match itself. The moment it ended, it's smiles, celebrations, happy faces, etc. So different approaches for different kinds of teams. And some they thrive in having fun and messing around like Secret appears to be, and their voice comes when we hear them celebrate. And then Heroic, every single time around is one, on to the next one. What went wrong? Fix it, boom, go next. And, I think
it's a very mature way to play it.
No, it is.
Right? You've got your head down. And I know that this is going to be described as a grudge match because these two teams are from the same region. They've got players that are very familiar with each other. But at the end of the day, you know, I think when the going gets tough, that enthusiasm that Secret shows will cool off. And they will go towards being probably a bit more serious. But I don't know. I think there's something to be said for keeping things light as well.
Yeah. Well, there are two sides to it, certainly. I think there's a time and place for both, essentially. And More so than ever, like when you're losing rounds and you're falling behind, I think that's when getting a little bit light can be good. Just to kind of bring the vibes up, you know, hey guys, we got this, ooh, whatever. Crack a joke. I think every team having what we call like a vibe guy, just a guy bringing good vibes essentially, can be quite a good thing to invest in, honestly. We're on the bomb site.
We are, indeed. Well, we're not, but
they
it
are.
is. In the middle of the bomb site, first kill goes to Uno, but it's traded out. Astro collects doubles. Doubles are best, but you know what's even better? Triples. Triples are best. And Astro gets them. 3 kills. Grizzly will fight for his life with Noodle. Noodle's up above. He's retaken the top floor. Have to watch for Yokai drone. Savage taking some serious damage from the fire. Diffuser's in the hands of Kendrew. Secret really opened things up, but look at that. It's a 2v2. Diffuser going down from Kendrew. Will Noodle drop? Savage's eyes are turned elsewhere. There goes the door. Grizzly pre-firing through the wall is not good enough. Diffuser goes down, and now the time will run against Heroic. They were able to stem the bleeding in the previous round, but Team Secret moved to match point if they're able to prevail. And the advance coming in will be good enough to take out Savage, leaving Kendrew in a must-win situation. He'll expose himself just on the right of the door and gets swept on in. That Type 89 low ammunition can't control the bearing. Grizzly gets the cleanup and has exactly 15 seconds to get to the diffuser, and he'll get to it. No problems at all. Team Secret calling their timeout as we've got ourselves a ball game. 5-5.
I mean, Heroic are winning every single retake that they're being presented with right now from Secret, and I have to say, Secret in that 2 versus 2 could have played that a lot safer, if you will. The moment that diffuser case goes down from Kendrew, Savage could have gone as the sledge back out from third tunnel into kitchen, play vertically for the post plan in that 1 versus 2, arguably a lot safer, stronger, and let Kendrew fight off on bomb site 1 versus 1, 1 versus 2 for that time being. Instead, he stays behind the deployable shield, but the member in blue had a impact grenade that destroys the shield. He's low on HP, he falls. Kendrew couldn't clutch the 1v2, and that's why we're looking at a 5-5 tight scoreline.
This is what will happen. This is how we win the round. Example, like just holding some angles and trying to play for the plant right now. They need to take their time, and then you come back to the retake of the round. Because of that. You know? So for now, just do the fast push, and once we got the advantage, we hold angles and we try to play a little bit more from chest. That's it. Yep. Let's go. Let's go!
It's a general strategy instead of specifics.
Yeah.
So I do wonder, I don't know Twister's coaching style at all, but I do wonder if he would go into specifics if there was 1 or 2 rounds remaining. I mean, in this case, there are technically only 2 rounds remaining before overtime.
Yeah.
But I think he saw a fundamental that was not being respected, and that's what he believes the biggest focus to be and where the largest improvement for Team Secret can come from.
I agree, and I also think from a coaching and player perspective, if you present your team with a very specific idea that you have in your mind as a coach, you have 60 seconds to fully convey it, and if anybody doesn't understand it, or if nobody understands it, they're gonna have a, okay, what now? What's the next step in this? I think it can be very difficult to do, because you only have 1 timeout per coach, you only have those 60 seconds, conveying like a general concept, or notes that you're finding by watching behind the players, like Twister just did, I think you can get a lot further with that as a coach, and also, it's up to the players in the server, in the moment, to actually do that thing that you want them to when it happens 30 seconds, 60 seconds later in the active phase later on. So I like the general concepts here. I also like how Twister presents himself, making it very casual sounding for his teammates as well. Being, do the fast push that we spoke about, that we practiced, etc. Then you hold the angles, you wait for them to come to you, then you build that advantage further, and then you strike the execute. It's extremely simplified. Anyone can understand that, and let's see if Secret can now put that to use in practice in this upcoming round.
The one thing that you cannot say about Twister is that he's not a nice guy. He is unfailingly nice.
Yeah.
You know, just like little things. He DM'd me on Christmas, just wishing me like a happy, like a Merry Christmas. And I just thought it was
very nice.
Even something like that is just like very, very kind. Right?
Yeah.
Like you don't have to do that. And it's like, yeah, Twister and I talk, and I've often reached out to him to get information about LATAM because the language barrier can make it challenging.
Yeah.
But presenting himself that way is very different and in stark contrast to some of the more authoritarian coaches that we tend to see.
Okay. Bless you.
So I did a tickle in my throat.
Yeah.
And I think it can work, and certain players will respond to that better kindness goes an awful long way in that regard. Secret, for the record, have already breached the gate. They're in quite quickly. It's not a cache CCTV take, though that's where the focus might be for Team Secret right now. It's gym and bedroom, the other side of this top floor. We have not seen a cache CCTV defense once in this matchup, though we've seen Barstock twice. Barstock now stretching its advantage over cache CCTV as the third most played bomb site.
Stay back.
Doom applying a bit of pressure from beneath with that impact grenade and prefab to the floor. Not really aiming for anything in particular, just letting his presence be known to members of Secret that a flank might be happening soon. Heroic, most playing in corners, waiting for the next move from Secret, but they know what the plan is. Go fast, hold angles, and build that advantage.
There's a nitro cell that goes off as well, ringing in tinnitus in the ears of Savage. Savage has been so good, he's starting to cool off. First kill goes to Heroic, answered back right away. They're keeping their trades nice and tight. Grizzly and Grubby in a mid-off when it comes to those guns. And it's Grubby who comes out on top of it. Uno inside of the bathroom will slow down the advance from Secret. Secret are really just running into their own demise here. The strategy that Twister wanted for them was get a plant, hold crossfires. Well, the struggle for Secret is to even get into the bomb site, let alone hold a crossfire. Grubby vaults over, he's got the diffuser going down, and it's spotted out by the Solus down below. Uno, punished for his play. Finished off by Sleben. Timer will now run against this Heroic squad. June will need to get back up top as he was playing below to try and stop the plant. But this is a very tough bomb site to get back into, Nick, and they know that. Nice shot from June, but he'll have to do it all as he's lost Noodle. Playing up through weight room, but they see his legs. Team Secret do hold their angles in the post plant, just as was instructed, and they're on map point because of it.
They're looking good for, I mean, the sheer confidence every single time we saw it. There's like 3 different members of Secret walking and just checking a corner like it's a pre-programmed plan in their head. Started off in office, and sure, one member got taken out from Secret by Heroic, but they trade back 1 for 1. Grizzly had that very unfortunate whiff inside of office, hiding behind the desk as Jaeger, and that might have actually cost them the round to a degree, because A surviving with 1 HP means the bomb goes down, you lose bomb site presence, and you lose the 3-3 into a 3 versus 2. That's not ideal if you want to win that round as Heroic. And with how that went, Heroic said, that's not supposed to happen. That's not how we foresee, or how we envisioned that round to go. We're going to go back to the same exact bomb site, maybe change a thing or two. For example, there's an Ella, there's no Frost, they have Castle, etc. So minor changes being made. Maybe, just maybe, with these ADS and these reinforcements, they'll be holding on to CCTV and extend out. And again, as Uno said, get in their face, because that's what they keep saying, but it's not what their gameplay is showing. Both on Heroic's basement defense and on their previous gym defense, they're hiding in corners, waiting for Secret to get to them. That, to me, is not getting in your opponent's face at all.
What is it?
It's hiding from your problems.
Cowardly.
Cowardly so. But Heroic, they've made it thus far. They've gotten 5 rounds on the board, Secret 6. Sure, match point is against Heroic so far, but 1 round and you will enter overtime, where you basically go back to a 0-0, best of 3 in terms of rounds. And you go and fight for Oregon. There's the next map up to come.
That is, as we've got confirmation, Team Secret's map. Again, the expectations were set on the analyst desk as DZ and Heroic was a very close matchup yesterday, and it frankly shouldn't have been from Heroic. Even though this is their map, Heroic are yet again in a close fight against more established opponents.
Yeah.
Crazy to think how Heroic would be playing if they had their full roster.
Yeah, I mean, we always have to wonder about those things, but at the same time, it can be a secret. I didn't expect them to do so well. Here they are at the Invitationals, looking very good.
Savage, the first one to lead the fight in at the top of the stairs, but he's been downed with some brief penetration through the wall. He'll be brought back to life by Secret. Sloth, the very first kill, but he's under fire now too. Shotgun out. There were 3 players from Secret in that area. Sloth finds 2 of them, but not the 3rd. Wrong direction, and Astro picks up kill number 14. Secret have a lot of work to be done. Half the round to go, and they've already lost their sledge and their primary hard breacher. No Selmas remaining. Joom guns down Astro. It's a 2v4 favoring Heroic at this point, and overtime seems all but certain.
But it does. And I was a Heroic. They really got into their face, and look how it worked out for them. Now they gotta pick up the pieces. Heroic now can hide in corners. They can take their time. Let Secret make all the moves and all the mistakes. This is the moment for that because you got the advantage built up for you already. They cannot plan in the circumstance.
Oh no, Sleben caught in a crossfire. Heroic do it! They push us to overtime with 2 quick kills.
Boys, we call basement from. Last time they rushed it, they're not going to do it again, so they're actually going to try to break it down.
Okay, listen to that. Basement, Rome, they're not going to rush it because they did it last time. They have to break it apart. Uno is calling their own strategy from Heroic, and also giving some information as to how they expect the opponent to handle it. And I do agree with his comment where typically in personal play, you don't see the same strat being done twice because if you think about it, it's not supposed to work if the enemy knows about it. There's a possibility that they had it up their sleeve. So it's one of those, we call it pocket strats. It works one round in a matchup and then never again. You don't even dare to attempt it. But there are these kind of double bluffs you can do, right? You rush it once, they think you won't do it again, so they play careless, they play 4-man upstairs, and guess what? Secret, they rush basement one more time because why not? So you have to always pay attention to the possibility of that, but Uno does have the good canisters as well at his disposal. If a rush does happen, you see it here, blue door covered, the dirt door is covered, so Uno can really stall for 20 seconds of time and let his teammates get back to the bomb site if a rush were to happen. The line is available to Sleben. That gadget will keep the defender standing still or get spotted if they move, so they also do have the option of roam clearing, yes, but also could just hit the side if they think it's the better option here for them.
First E1D is used 15 seconds into the round by Secret. Only 2 remain. You see it on your screen, Heroic will defend twice in overtime. No way. Sloth engaged from multiple angles. He was stuck in weight room with no way out. And Kendra decides to give him a bit of a break. Another E1D will go as well. The assumption was that Secret wouldn't be quick, but they're being relatively quick to engage with Heroic. That strategy that Heroic had spoken about to get in their faces is absolutely working! Yep. Especially with June popping off with 2 huge kills in a row.
They're doing it. They're starting to believe in the strat from Uno. Get in their face, it will work, I promise you. And that it does. Massive payments and rewards right now. And you see it. The moment the advantage is built, straight back to the bomb side. Play the 4v2, play your crossfires, your corners. They only have Thermite and Hibana. They have 6 flashbangs, no smoke, no nades, and they have 2 guns. Sure, they can open up every hatch and every wall you can possibly imagine, but they're just gonna hot drop into Moto. Go crazy or go home.
It seems like it, but Heroic have read into it. Grubby is no more, and neither is Kendrew. Same spot. Heroic sweep them away. Heroic moved to map point.
They're looking a lot better. Again, we're seeing smiles, we're seeing celebrations, we're seeing them actually challenging their opponent as the plan has been for so long. This might just be about 2 rounds ago, the breaking point for Heroic where they finally commit fully to the actually just take the risk. And we saw it when Slav was challenging the sledge on the strip club roof. That is arguably a extremely risky, not preferred thing to do. You're fighting a better weapon, he has a better scope than you, etc. And ends up getting shot in the back by Kendrew on the CCTV roof through a barricade, through a wall. But if the plan is to fight your opponents, you just gotta fight every single chance you can. You don't get to pick your fights. You just take everything that you can. So far, it's working out for them. I like Secret's bomb site choice here of basement. It's arguably a bomb site where you can't fight them as much if you are on the attacking side, because, I mean, if you roam, as Heroic did, you gotta roam clear. Some fights will occur, sure. But once you hit the bomb site, it's more about the execute strategically, right? Where the smokes and flashbangs go, which allows you to get into a fight that is pretty much like a guarantee to win. Or, if you can, sneak down a staircase, for example, into blue stairs, get a free kill, then get crazy. Whereas Gym, Bar, and CCTV will have fights all across the map throughout the round. Basement, well, we get 5 defenders on the bomb site itself. They're not gonna give Heroic any fights early on.
All the way back at the start of this map, we talked about whether it was defender-sided or not, and I said, you know, it's 56%. We're used to seeing 3-3 or 4-2 based on that scoreline. Well, it was 3-3 first half, 3-3 second half.
Yep.
And now, if we go all the way through those 14 rounds, well, you're going to need it to be 50-50. That means Heroic wins. If not, then the overtime ends up being defender side, and we see which way it cuts back. But, I mean, the numbers are not incorrect, and it looks like Clubhouse is solidified now. This will be its 5th time being played that we have stats for. Secret want to get in their face now, too, though.
I got info. Can't act upon it just yet. If the hatch is opened up, they could toss a C4, but it is closed.
Nook has grenades as a secondary, so no way to open up that hatch at all.
Oh.
How long were you being watched for? That's the real question. Joom is going to communicate that to the rest of the team.
They know.
This is the routine that we talked about when attacking this bomb site. Take out that hallway floor. It's going to look down to the pathway between the 2 bomb sites and basement. First bit of damage is done to Joom. Can hear the sounds of Jaeger's carbine as Grubby finds at least 1 player. Grubby's favorite spot has been over towards blue, and that's where Joom was perched. But Grubby's gotten out of there. Ooh. Far enough back. Deployable shield goes down to an explosive. That's actually huge for defending the back of the bomb site. Heroic finds kill number 1. Only 4 more to go. Their map. They so desperately need this. It's Kendrew who's removed.
Yep, that means no more Warden. Now, there are no smokes, no flashbangs left in the pocket of Heroic, so gadgetry-wise, the Warden's not a big playmaker in this round. It comes down to execute from Heroic. Can they get in? Can they win their gunfights and do it cleanly? Or will Secret take it?
Slevin to take damage now. Noodles dropped. He knows he's there, but it's a slow peek from Astro, and it works out. Secret now finding their footing in the round, while Slevin is all but mortally wounded. Heroic will go back onto drones as right above him, Slevin is losing some of the protection on the wall. He's going to be playing with limited HP. Time for toxic canisters to blank at the bottom of the stairs, but there was only 1 remaining, so a big blind spot that there's nothing that the defense can do. Sloth making an awful lot of noise. Secret have to push into the bomb, or rather, Heroic need to push into the bomb site, as Secret so desperately needs to win the round to keep themselves alive. Things are working out quite well. Uno is the last one standing, and he's making mincemeat of some of these players, but again, Finn versus Finn, and it's the superpower player of Slevin who comes out on top. All 15 rounds needed between these teams, and if this is a sign of things to come, we are going to be treated to one heck of an Oregon and bank.
I can't believe that Slevin stays alive as Mirror on that triple wall for so long. He's like 20 HP, maybe less.
I mean, triple's his best.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great for him. And he stays alive, gets a kill to finish off the round for his team as well. And we go the distance. Now, Heroic, they get, 2 attempts at defense. I would argue, looking at how the basement attack has been going throughout the entirety of this map, they would probably prefer to be in defense so that they can choose how aggressive they want to be versus how Secret can just kind of wait for them to do something instead. Bar bomb side is certainly a bomb site we can choose your fights. Because you're roaming upstairs, we saw Uno last time hiding in the basement, also waiting. You essentially play the majority of the map, and the only real limitation is how bold are you? How thin do you want to spread across the map? And as long as you have top floor control where most teams will defend as are Heroic, you can deny any plant attempt downstairs inside a bar. Especially thanks to stuff like the Evil Eyes and the Maestro, or a bulletproof camera from the Melusi of Doom, etc. So they can just play 5-man upstairs, or 4 if you will. Fight their way through the ground, contest the injury points from Secret, and slow them in their tracks. In terms of kill count, it's extremely even. 10, 6, 16, okay, I thought it was a 10 as well actually. 16 from Astro, that's a bit uneven. But there is 10, 6, 10, 8 from Secret. Heroic sitting on 8, 13, 11, 9, and 8. No massive outliers in either direction besides Astro on 16.
Wall opened up very quickly. EE1D burned again. Secret setting a breakneck pace. 30 seconds into the round, and a bunch of utilities already been thrown its way towards Heroic. The man of the hour in this map has been Astro, and the way that he has found his way towards the bomb site and has largely done so without a drone, and that's exactly what's happening right now. Kendrew's droned him in partially. Not all the way up just yet.
That's all he needs.
If Astro's good enough for a kill, and that's it, and he trades himself out, that's huge value, especially if it's one of the, well, one of the utility-heavy operators that are still left. There's 1 Nitro Cell on the board from Grizzly. I don't know if it's pre-placed or if it's been used and we just missed it.
I believe it's been used, but I didn't see where or hear it. But either way, Uno, likely the highest project kill target you can have, because then those evil eye cameras can only be utilized to either shoot or open up. 1 minute 30 to go, 5v5. Astro still fishing for his kill in this round. Heroic, they're not showing themselves just yet. They're waiting, buying time to apply that pressure onto Secret.
Dying moments of what's been a very electric map. If you tuned into the W7M G2 map, you know that this region can put some fireworks off when they need to. 2 kills from Heroic, 1 from Secret. For Secret, that's especially bad. They're the ones with the objective in mind. They pick up the diffuser. As Sleben, if he goes for a plant, will rely on Savage and Astro to watch over him. But that'll be a 2v4 at that point. You have to tear up this bomb site, and most importantly, this beachhead that Heroic has established inside a bathroom that's being watched by Joom, you gotta shake him off that spot. Joom has the vantage point. He knows that somebody's there. Sleben will drop, but he's caught. Things are not going well for Secret as it's all on the shoulders of Astro. He's usually the first one into the site. He'll be the last. Good for 1 kill, but what's the impact? Can he salvage the round from it? 25 seconds to go. No diffuser. This will be all about kills. He's given himself away. Bomb site's down below. So Astro will need to drop. And look at Heroic. They got the picks. They fell off. All they need to do is find one hot hand, and they win the map. And that's exactly what they do. It was a seesaw contest. Heroic, with the lead until the second half, Secret took over. They were just keeping it warm.
Yeah.
Heroic takes it back in the 15th and final round. Still a bit of a scare on their own map. Maybe a bit too close for comfort.
Yeah.
But a win's a win and they'll take it.
I mean, the adaptations back and forth from both teams and the insight that we got to listen to from the prep phase or the timeouts or whatnot, I really appreciate that. We need Twist right now saying the same things for next map. What to fix?
And maybe we'll do it again. I'd love to listen in, but we have our contractual obligations. So we'll go to a quick break, and we'll come back as Heroic versus Secret rolls on.
I'm Nicholas Morton, but you know me as Pingu. I'm a 2-time Rainbow Six Siege World Champion and former top Rainbow Six Siege player in Pro League. Welcome to my Siege Ranked Bootcamp. We're talking 20 seconds left on the clock, you got the diffuser in hand, what do? Play the way that you're comfortable with, because you have confidence when you're in this position. That is when you're gonna be at your very best. Good luck.
Well, that was an absolutely incredible match between two teams, both coming from the same region. And you expect fireworks when you see an inter-regional matchup. I know that you've witnessed it before on EUL, but Nick, you and I don't cast the European League. And even though we watch it, it's always nice to be able to sit alongside these two squads. Still, Heroic edges out Team Secret by a score of 8-7, but it was on their own map.
Yeah, so it's expected them to win, if you want to put it that way, but I mean, they barely scraped their way past the point, right? 8-7 is as close as it can get. It's a back and forth from both teams, and there was no decisive lead really being built up by either team, but the strategical advantage, or sorry, the strategical elements that they were changing throughout the game from both teams really impressed me.
Well, they both learned, they both adapted. Both teams took their timeouts and they changed up their own style of play. It was often, for one team, a single player standing out, head and shoulders among the rest. Astro kept Team Secret in contention either by opening up and making space for his team or getting kills through the mid-round while the rest of the team entried very effectively. And he was the big story for this squad. On Heroic's side, it was more of a mixed bag. Everybody showed up, and despite the fact that it was an 8-7 scoreline, you can see the individual scores of Heroic are really nothing that impressive.
No, I mean, it's very, very dead even almost, very tight in the scoreline indeed. I want to say, not just because Noodle's on top being 14-10 or whatever, but 5 opening kills from Noodle, and the aggressive window jump outs, even in that final round to get the man advantage. Those are round-defining moments, and Noodle, as the new player in the squad, new player in general, he really stepped up.
He absolutely did. You know, and you got to feel for somebody like Slav, coming back into play at a Tier 1 level, coming back into play at the biggest international event in all of Rainbow Six. And I don't think Slav has really had a terrible game yet.
No.
So you come into a squad that you're not even necessarily supposed to be a starter on. You haven't played at the top level, the same consistency with this team as other players on the team have. And there's Sloth on your screen. And I mean, has he been a world beater? No, but I don't think anybody had that expectation. In fact, Sloth has done significantly better than I thought he would, given the circumstances. And to that, a tip of the hat.
No, certainly, and watching the player cams as well, you can quite frequently see Sloth reach for his call-out or strat paper next to him, which multiple members of Heroic they do have. I assume it's Noodle and gonna be Sloth, having those next to them. But it's nice to see a player really put in the effort to learn the call-outs, the strats, etc., because since Sloth was last on Heroic, things have obviously changed. Their strats, their callouts, the players themselves, and how they approach the game. And so far, they're making it work for them. Ying being banned first, that is Heroic's choice as they start on defense, and Secret will start on the attacking side. What follows up? Last map we saw it was the Kaid and Ayana from Secret, and the Asami and Dokkaebi from Heroic. So different operators right off the bat. Or not. Ayana follows along.
Secret don't like this operator being played against Heroic at all, so they will instead ban out the Yana twice in a row.
Twice in a row indeed.
I think Ying being gone on Oregon is an exceptionally smart idea. I know that on Clubhouse you were a little bit skeptical of this Kaid. Has anything changed with it being Oregon?
Yeah, so Oregon does change things, right? Because the base and bomb side being so hatch dependent, the lobby, the freezer, and the meeting hatch, it is so annoying to deal with that you pretty much have to bring Thatcher because the impact EMPs don't have a big enough range to consistently deal with the kite claws, and you don't want to have to bring a Thatcher just to open up hatches in case a kite gets brought. So this again frees up your operator lineup, you can get more flexible, and when you're tagging that base and bomb side, especially with Ying being banned off the board, you need to bring other heavy utility or execution enabling operators. That can be the Line, it can be the Oza, it can be a Monty, whichever your team prefers. Ying, for example, Glass, for example, is a stellar operator for a basic Oregon attack, although almost no teams bring it because it's a very difficult operator to play, especially to navigate through a smoke with a very zoomed-in scope.
All right, very first defense will be on the basement of Oregon. And about as good of a time as ever for us to break down the way that Oregon is played. Heading into today, it's only been played 3 times. It was 4, to be fair. It's the 4th least played map. It's like almost exactly in the middle.
Okay.
50% of the rounds have been won by the defense, 50% of the rounds have been won by attack. So, again, when I said during the very first map We don't have a lot of plays on some of these maps. The fact that Oregon's only been played 3 times is really not a ton. Yeah, Clubhouse was, 4 plays as well.
Yeah.
But even 1 or 2 more times gives you a better picture of whether the map is settled. These stats are a bit deceiving because if you have a team that's really proficient on attack, doesn't matter how defender-sided it is, they could bump the numbers up in one direction. Operator bans obviously have a huge amount of impact as well.
Yes.
So 50% for Oregon. We'll go into the individual bomb sites in the next round, but safe to say, Laundry's supply, out of all the bomb sites that are continued to be played and are played quite often, Laundry's supply in the basement is by far and away the best site for the defenders.
I'd agree with that.
Wow, look at
Oh, the nade.
Misses him. Doesn't even do a single point of damage to him. Now there is a second opportunity. This angle being held by Grizzly. Heroic getting the very first pick. It's on to Grubby. The Nook was awfully deceptive.
It's again, Heroic getting in their face, right? I can hear this voice saying, go basement roam, go basement roam, just like on Clubhouse. Fight them where you want to. In Secret, they didn't take a buff, they didn't do vertical damage towards the members of Heroic that are roaming, and therefore they get punished. June is up here on the fire, but can slowly, or rather quickly, run away. Or fight.
You can hear the sounds of the para from Kendrews. He takes the engagement and wins it inside of Attic. He's got those pocket hard breach gadgets. Something that we've seen as the evolution of Oregon never really stops is that teams will actually forego a traditional hard breacher and instead run exclusively with one of those operators who can run the secondary hard breach gadget. Capitao gets seen. We see a lot of Ying. We see a lot of Buck. And it opens up what utility your team can bring. Because it's not your main gadget. And if you only want to open 2 hatches and that's it, bringing one of those operators with the secondary hard breach gadget is often more than suitable, especially with a Kaid ban.
It is, and now you also get the caps of fire, arrows, and smoke, and it's all about that execute, which backside is happening right now.
Kills from both teams will ring in. Astro starting off strong, being a part of the action. Numbers favor Secret. They're boxed out of the bomb site, or so they think. Slebin will delay towards Laundry. Grizzly is not too far off. There's a drone right next to him, and he'll let one player from Secret just fly on by. Plant going down in the hands of Kendrew. Astro has been down, finished off by Grizzly. That's information. Kendrew successful. It's now on to Slebin to hold off the one cross. Softwall explodes in front of him. Kendrew and Slebin side by side, looking for any intel that can be gained from Heroic. Grizzly's made his way inside a freezer, and he's ice cold, baby. Yet another kill goes in, and Kendrew finished off by Grizzly. 3 kills. Technically, it's Noodle to get the kill. Grizzly just gets the finish. And with plenty of time left, Heroic win their first round.
It's another retake from Heroic. I count that as 4 if you go back to Clubhouse as well. These are rounds that typically defenders should not be winning statistically, because once the bomb goes down, attackers have such a big advantage. But it is Oregon basement. There's no, far away outside the building post-plant position you can play from. You gotta fight it out on the bomb side, and going up against a smoke and a mute with SMG11 shotgun is difficult. Heroic, they make great work with the weapons, playing close quarter, also throwing the C4 over to enable the member of Smoke inside our elbow to get back into the bomb side. That is one opening. Then Toxic Babe gets tossed out, forcing the Secret members to run away, and then the flank comes through from Freezer Staircase, or from Freezer Hallway rather. It was beautifully played by Heroic.
Technical issues, and happen all the time. They just do.
It does.
They just do.
Actually, I would actually go so far as to say it has not happened that frequently.
It hasn't happened to us at all, actually. Oh. This is the very first technical timeout that you and I have had. Yep. This is the last match that we're going to be casting today. So, I mean, it's possible it'll happen again, but 3 matches in to not have a technical issue, that's pretty good.
There you
but
see.
It gives you some time to go through the strats.
Yeah, literally.
Sloth just has them in front of him.
He's doing some reading. Yeah, so those are strat papers, not call-out papers.
Yes.
Yeah, they are.
The technical issue is on Heroic's side, by the way.
Oh, win the round, then knock out a cable or 2, get a technical timeout.
Okay, enough.
Okay, so the coaches can't talk and the players can do limited talking during these, so that's not actually a viable strategy. I'm not saying they're doing that, but that's a good little meme that they throw at each other here and there.
He is not seriously accusing them.
Not this time.
Of deception.
Not this time. I am sure it has happened, as it does in every sport, because sometimes somebody gets a little angry and goes, and hits the wrong thing. Accidentally on purpose, of course.
I am breathing out very heavily.
Yeah, I can't hear it.
Not really much to talk about after that first round, unless you'd like to go into specifics about what you saw happen.
No, I mean, the one big takeaway is that Secret, they are, I don't want to say that they're ego-challenging Heroic, but they try to take the path of least resistance, which is like going through lobby, as you saw from Grubby, Grubby, on the Nook, and just challenge somebody. One guy walking from small tower, bottom right stairs, challenge the other guy. But the correct play, if you will, is to go up above, open up the soft destructible floor to deny the freezer crossfire with the freezer staircase as well, and then isolate the members of Heroic. It takes more time, you gotta roam clear Doom, which they did later on. They almost did step number B first, got punished, then went back to step number A, then succeeded. But it cost them a member, it cost them time, and that might be the difference maker for them, as they didn't have that extra member and the frag grenades once they reached the bomb site later on.
Seems to be a mic issue that has befallen poor Noodle.
You know, if only it was a monitor issue back when Lion first came out, because you wouldn't need your monitor to play Lion. You just need a mouse with the middle mouse button key bound to the gadget, and you just click it.
Tell the story again.
I mean,
tell the story.
For the people who don't know this story, back in, oh my god, how long ago is this? It's a long time ago. Magnus on Fnatic, that's how long ago it is.
As an the Paris Major.
It might have been Paris Major, yeah.
At the Paris Major.
And we're practicing against, I believe, Fnatic, and we're playing Coastline, and Fabian's monitor just like blacks out in the middle of the round, but he's playing Lion, so we go, Fabian, can you still use your mouse? Like try and turn and we'll like look at this character. It's like, yeah, I can. I'm like, okay, just pop the Lion when we tell you to. Wow. We'll like make plays.
Yeah.
And within the 3 Lion charges that we used, we won the round 4v5.
Wow.
And the admin just like walked in, took the monitor, walked out, and then came back at the end of the round, put it back down, clocked it in. Great scrim. So if only it was a monitor issue back then, this wouldn't even be necessary. We just keep on going.
Awesome story, man.
Come on. Do you dislike Fabian that much, Parker?
What's the deal with Fabian? I've heard you tell that story like 1,000 times.
That's so, yeah. I feel like
Lion was so strong that we didn't even need to move. All we needed to do was press the gadget button. Yeah, you were also the...
Would you disagree he was strong?
You were also literally the best team in the world. It was like...
Okay.
You were... It's like, you're like the Monstars from Space Jam, and you're playing up against a bunch of like high school kids.
That is not fair comparison. Is it?
I'm sorry, how many maps did you lose at that entire event?
Paris? We lost the 6-0 Villa to Market in group stage. That was it. Then we 6-0'd Millennium on Villa the day after, and everyone thought that we intentionally lost to hide the fact that to basically show that we were bad at the map, so everyone banned it against us after. But we didn't do it on purpose. Like, we actually just lost the Market 6-0.
You guys were like super soldiers, destroying like a bunch of like children at a game of like basketball, and you lost a single map all event. You're going, no, it's not a fair comparison. You're so humble.
Okay.
Anyway.
My only point was that Lion used to be the strongest than he is now. He is still good, however, especially the secondary MPs at disposal. I think the real question nowadays, if you're a Lion player, right, Parker, do you bring the DMR or the AR? Because that's a different kind of way to cook. If you,
I find DMRs get played a lot more on LAN.
They do.
So, I mean, I think it's worth noting that most of the people who cast this game are not good enough to really get the most out of one or the other. But I will say, I prefer a higher rate of fire because it's more forgiving. Hold on a second here. Action is going to just start happening. Heroic decide that Secret's entrance is not something they want. So they take the battle to them and kill all of them except for Grubby. Grubby's the last one alive. He'll just wander into the bomb site. Doesn't look lost, but doesn't have that same moxie, that same level of confidence. He's over by Big Window. He's Buck. He can tear things open. And he will, in fact, have to blow this entire round wide open. Goes on to drone, sees the Warden of Noodle. Down he goes. That's 2 kills from Grubby. Suddenly became very winnable. Sloth and Grizzly are the last 2 alive, but they're out of the bomb site, and they've got the diffuser. That's the bigger issue for Grubby, is he has to go towards them. He doesn't know where they are. One's on the ground, one's upstairs, and there's a cam giving his position away. Grubby softened up. And he's down for the count. Heroic, 2-0.
not need to push in them 3v1s. We can play back far.
Oh.
Yeah, Noodle.
Oh, yeah, Noodle. You don't gotta push.
Hey, Noodle. You don't need to push in 3 minutes.
I mean, I will say, whatever, like, that is so correct, though. It's like, that is the wrong thing to do. It's getting risky. Tactical break from Secret, very early on here.
It's a timeout. It's a real bona fide timeout now. So Team Secret obviously not liking what they saw. Let's listen.
You guys are not supposed to win this by yourself. You guys are supposed to do stuff together. That's the main important thing. Do the 3, 2, 1, and let's go to win this fucking shit, okay? Together.
Together. So, very clearly a, not a strategical necessarily timeout, but more of a motivational / atmosphere / mental situation. Twister seeing that the players play too isolated and too alone, trying to win individually rather than trying to win together as a team. And looking at how that rush really went, it was very, very isolated from the members of Secret. I do agree with that. Grubby tried to make something happen, got 3 kills in the round, but no one else really had a backup or a trade going. I mean, the 2 members of the Master Bedroom rush, the 3 members of Master Bedroom died. 1 member, then like 4 second passes, then the 2nd member dies. If you're going for a bomb site rush, you should be dying at the same time or trading each other out within a fraction of a second, otherwise something is wrong. You gotta be right at the heels of your teammate to be there in the action when it occurs. And that was not the case. I also am a very big fan of the fact that Twister takes this time out extremely early on, just after round number 2, to catch this right as it occurs, to fix it for the rounds to come, instead of saying, let's wait till round 4, 3, then take this time out, say the same thing, but have less time to work with. He's trying to apply these things as early as possible to stop it from happening, to get back into this round-wise, and start building some rounds on the board. That's awkward.
Can't shoot through those sandbags. Astro, who was magnificent in the first map of Clubhouse, well, seems to have hit a bit of a snag here on Oregon. Not quite so strong on this entry one bit. 1 for 3 and entry stats right now, not looking so good. It's aggressive hold from Heroic, taking the engagement in tower very seriously.
Oh yeah. This is a classic EU like year 3 strategy. You fight in big tower, baby, and it's hard to pick apart as an attacker because you don't typically attack against this, so you're not very practiced or well-versed in that scenario.
It's especially hard to fight against when you've lost 3 players on your team and you've lost a good bit of explosives of the offset. If there's an Azami holding the top part of tower, you're going to need every explosive you can get.
Yeah.
Ash is definitely one of those. Oh. Celebratory bounce from June after taking out Kendrew. That's Diffuser down. Sleben in a 1v5. All eyes from his team will be on him. I'm going to say the thing that we got called out on social media.
That. Yeah.
He might just take a little bit of a timeout.
But why do you keep saying that? Maybe he should... Yeah, I saw that post. It's valid, though. But the thing is, this is essentially what pro players do. I can say from experience. Like, there's no reason for Sleben. Like, statistically, this round is way over a while ago. You're gonna go in and die immediately, or take a quote-unquote glorified tactical timeout without your coach, of course, and just talk amongst yourself as a team. What went wrong? What are we gonna fix? What's the situation, etc. Because you don't have that many seconds to spare in Siege in the active round when people are alive. Also, what was it? I had something I want to talk about, actually. Oh yeah, yesterday, Heroic up against Dark Zero, they were going through a lot of mental exercises, right? They were winning rounds, losing rounds, and things weren't always going their way, but mentally, Heroic, they seemed pretty much in it the entire time. Secret, they go down 0-2, they call a tactical timeout, and following up round, they get flawless by Heroic, by big tower hold on the tertiary bomb site defense. I am questioning and wondering, how is Team Secret going to look in 2 rounds from now if this keeps happening in terms of their mental, their confidence, and how aggressive they can play?
I'm not contractually obligated to say it, but I was correct. I mean, Sleben did take a timeout, and it's going to let his team settle down and maybe discuss next steps.
Yeah. As one should. There's no reason not to, honestly.
Technically a flawless round from Heroic, even though it doesn't display on the screen because they win the round without any of them dying. Perfect site rotation as well for Heroic.
Yeah.
Laundry, dorms, and meeting. Team Secret keeps Leben alive. Don't get a single kill.
I'd also argue that Oregon being a map where I would say the base and bomb site is like, that's a stable one that every team likes to run, defender favorite, etc. That's great. Then you go up to the Kid Storm's bomb site. It's kind of 50-50 at best for defenders, and tertiary gets kind of gradually worse. Of course, depending on your playstyle, your strats, execution, operator bands, etc. But my point is, Oregon is not a map with a bunch of bomb site where you're thinking, I love this one, let me go here instead. Winning the perfect bomb site rotation of basement, upstairs, tertiary has a lot of value on this map because you get back to basement. Then you get your secondary strongest bomb site, because let's say you're struggling on basement like Kid Storms, it's very rare to see teams even up to the tertiary bomb sites as a backup because they simply just aren't that great. That's going to be, you know, dining, kitchen, and kitchen meeting. And Heroic, they go tertiary, they just defend one area of the map, big tile with 3 members, and that's it. And now they can buy themselves, not a free round by any means of basement, but it's the most likely round to be won bomb site-wise is this basement bomb site.
In terms of the individual bomb sites based on the numbers, I promised you that we would come back to it, and now is the perfect time to do so, as 3 bomb sites have been played. Laundry's supply room's been played 13 times, and it's been won 69% of the time by the defense.
Drone's up and running.
Fine, I'll do it myself. Nice. Dorms and the kids' dorms bomb site has been played 11 times, and it's been won by the defense just 5 of those 11 times, for a total of 45%. Meeting hall and kitchen has been played 7 times, and has only been won, I believe, a single time by the defenders. That's brutal. It's a very attacker-sided bomb site. Kitchen and dining, however, has been played once, and it was won by the defenders. The attackers have a 0% win rate on that bomb site.
You spoke of Astro Parker in his stat line and intro devs, and he is adding one more to the tally in the wrong way. 1 and 4 now, first of all, and when that happens, typically nothing positive follows up for Secret. Is the early aggression from Heroic fighting them, right? Spawn peeking right now, 2 rounds in a row with success. Also taking some damage off Kendra earlier on in the round, the first 10 seconds. Savage, his flourish drones now doing a good amount of soft destruction. Clear out the barbed wire, utility, etc. But you need your guns to strike true to fight Heroic on this basement defense. The drones won't do it for you.
Right now playing in the position that's affectionately referred to as Harry Potter because it's under the stairs. Sloth, waiting. Doesn't look like there's anybody actively holding pillar from Heroic. That means Grubby won't be contested for his position. Sleben decides to engage, but Sloth is just really, really on it at the moment. Sleben will bleed out, Astra already down. Heroic will await the troops of Secret down the back stairs. The Kiba barrier will block his line of sight as well. Kendrew gets Sleben back up. There's no read whatsoever. Grubby goes for broke, does not work out. Kendrew now stopped as well from going into blue because of the toxic canister. That means Savage has to drop, but it's to his own doom. Suddenly, a flawless round this time is very much a reality. Whether Sleben and Kendrew will head to the hills and regroup is anybody's guess, but they have 30 seconds to go. They will once again take the engagement to Heroic, but they are in free fall. Kendrew wanders down. He gets picked apart. Sleben will play off of the logic bomb. No deaths for Heroic this round, no deaths for Heroic last round. Sleben in a 1v5 yet again. Down the bottom of Laundry stairs. 3 sets of eyes from Heroic, all in the same area. Who gets to walk away with the kill? Joom wants it. Taking damage in the process, but a flawless round, technically, yet again. Sleben survives both rounds, but it's all for naught because Heroic wins both of them. It's 4-0. And that means Heroic cannot lose this first half at all.
No, you're right. And I will say, I mean, the Asami, the Kiba barriers that round gets immense value, but also, as Twister said, play together. Grubby went down the tower stairs into a gunfight while Kindred surviving inside a blue. That's not the ideal situation to be in if you were to want to play together. So things really are falling apart for Team Secret. And we also get to see just how strong Asami can be when not banned off the board, because in map number 1 of Clubhouse, Asami was banned by Heroic, which meant that she saw no play on the previous map. However, on this one, can single-handedly turn the tides of a round, as we just witnessed. Heroic, they are flexing their operator lineup right now. They got Frost, Capcan, Warden, and Mute on a Kidspunk defense. So maybe expecting a different kind of rush like last time. Shutting that down with traps, with damage, deployable shields, utility, if you will. Always a great component to have at your disposal if you want to make your gunfights go into your favor even greater.
What do you do if you're Secret in this particular instance, Nick? I mean, nothing is working.
Mental boom is what we call this where I'm from. You gotta reset like right now. Two things. Astro keeps dying the first 30 seconds, and he's the injured player for Secret. Nothing really happens after that. Secondly, we're playing alone. He's dead again. There's no follow-up, no trade, no one's near him. He just zoomed into the building with the Lion Charge, and now he's playing 4v5 again.
Of the opening kills through these 5 rounds, 5 of them in favor of Heroic. Only technically 1 for Secret because it was a trade, so that's a wash. In terms of it being uncontested, yeah, it's Heroic getting it every single time. For a map that's been played literally down the middle, that's not the number you want to see. 50% in favor of the attackers, 50% in favor of the defenders. I mean, that means that you can turn around and still have a 4-2 half here. Then Team Secret is a 4-2 half, and guess what? You still end up at 50%.
Yeah.
But mentally, you need to stay in the game. It's not about site rotation. It's not always about which side you start on. If you tilt off the face of the earth, it doesn't matter how friendly a bomb site is to you on defense. If you're throwing everything out the window, you're not going to win.
Momentum surely is a thing, and so is confidence. Right now, Heroic, they're just brewing it and building it up further and further. I mean, they're standing their ground and fighting toe and nail every chance they can get here. And Secret, they're barely fighting back at this point. They're now waiting for something to happen. It's completely shifted on its head.
Joom is ready for it. They walk right in. Does he fade away? No. Kill from Sleben. That's the first kill that they've been able to get on Heroic in 3 rounds. Are there more to go? No. Heroic are speed running Oregon at this point. 5-0.
I just love the contrast of Heroic wins around, Joom starts yelling towards Secret, Uno calmly says something like, good job guys, next round, whatever. It's like 2 completely different sides between, not necessarily between like a veteran and like a young player of Joom and Uno, but just the sheer personality trait differences and how they are as players, as people, etc. where Uno doesn't care about talking smack to his opponent across the room. He wants to focus on the next round. I'm sure Joom does as well. He's not pointing that out in a negative way about him, but he wants to talk to smack as well, right? And that's often we see from the younger players. They gotta get into some battles of their own, and we've all been there.
Have we?
I believe that us players. Sorry, you don't qualify for this one, Parker. Us players, I think we've all been there. Yeah, where we're like, went around and say something bad to the opponent, like, you guys suck, get a grip, hit your shots, whatever, Yeah. Usually it's not as TV friendly, but yeah.
That's the nicest trash talk I've ever heard.
Yeah, really.
You guys are really not great at the game, and I think we are better. You know what? I feel like something that you can say. I have a theory here.
Okay.
Battle toxicity.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to endorse toxicity.
Okay.
So I apologize if you think I am. But a question I have is, when you say like GG easy, even if it was an easy match, like that's kind of toxic, right?
Yeah.
If you type objectively, we were better. Because it is entirely truthful. Objectively, you were better.
Yeah.
You won the match.
Yeah. But that's
Can you get banned for typing that in chat? Because if all you say is GG's objectively we were better, it's a statement of fact.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
GG's we win.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna sting, but it's not necessarily toxic, but it will get perceived as, right? Because it hurts, it's truthful.
And that's a thought that's gonna fester,
I wish I knew that when I was young. I would have typed that every single game I won. I'd just like to really mental boom my opponent.
First kill in this round goes to Secret. That's big. It's their very first uncontested opening duel. That breaks in their favor. They get another 2 as well. Grubby's on one this round. Down goes Joom. Astro can't buy a kill at the moment. Heroic inside of Attic making some noise, but the Grubby story is still there. 3 kills to his name, every single one at this point for Secret in this round. But he's got to pivot from that upstairs bombs, or the upstairs area to the actual bomb site. Just down below in Meeting. Again, need I remind you that Meeting has only been won a single time by the defenders prior to this map. And now, based on the numbers, we might finally see the attackers win again, but it was won by Heroic earlier.
Yeah. I mean, Grubby's 1 HP, 1 tick from Toxic Babe takes him into an injured state. Plan could be set up here from Secret. They have upstairs control, so if Grubby can cut one line of sight, that could work for them. But again, he has 1 HP left, so a single bullet will eliminate him from the vertical damage control. Instead, might bait that and drop Meeting Hatch instead, where Uno is waiting for a play to happen.
Oh, and there's the defense putting in some work. Uno can now keep himself a bit safe, force Grubby or Savage to breathe in that toxic gas. Grizzly's not too far off as well. Savage has the diffuser, which is great because he's the player on the team with HP. Grubby is a single tick of that toxic canister down, but Uno is still in this spot. Savage in a 1v2. This round's been turned on its head. Uno could have a shotgun, and he does indeed. He peeks out. A perfect first half for Heroic.
Very impressive. It's 6-0. I mean, I don't want to jinx anything here, but we have yet to see a 7-0 at this event so far. And the man himself, who's been saying it since Clubhouse, take the fight to them, guys. Uno, he keeps telling his teammates, you need to fight them. He gets in the middle of the battle once more. And I believe Uno is sitting on 8 kills. Last I checked, put him some great numbers. Yep, 8 and 2 and 1. Great scoreline for him. Uno's second great showcasing statistically at this event so far. He had a 1 map yesterday against Dark Zero as well. And I point this out because Uno as an individual has been questioned by some fans, players, etc., broadcast members for he's not really putting up the numbers that we would expect from him. But also, Uno's job in Heroic is the leadership role, playing the hard support, etc., leading his team to the battle, but doing so and putting up numbers like someone like Kendrew does, LMs from BTS. That is what makes a player S tier, right? The absolute supreme of their role. Doing your job in your role and putting up numbers, bang, can't get much better than that. Uno can lead the troops from the grave, being 0 and 8, and still do a great job, but impact-wise, doesn't really have a meaningful, round-defining moment in terms of kills. Like in the previous round, he finds 3 kills, touches out, doesn't need his teammates' help whatsoever. It's a big moment for Heroic here. Secret, they gotta show up in the greatest form we have ever seen them in to date to turn this boat around. 0 and 6. Sure, it was Oregon attack, and it's not always easy to attack in Rainbow Six Siege, but you sure should not go and lose every single round the way Secret did.
This has been a fascinating matchup. Extremely close in map 1.
Yeah.
And I was expecting both Oregon and Bank to go deep into the night. Now, it's still possible. We've seen 2 6-0s happen before. Though it is exceptionally unlikely.
Yeah. I mean,
keep in mind that based on the numbers, Oregon is a 50-50 map for attackers and defenders. That means Team Secret now has to win every single one of their defenses, and will do so.
That's a great start.
Absolutely it is. Grubby, a nice play around the banister of the door. Down goes Slot, the door frame. His greatest aid. Heroic lose out on their Lion in the first minute of action. That's a very powerful operator that you talked about earlier.
Yeah. I mean, they still have their other card up their sleeve. That's Uno on the Capital, the other execution-based operator, the fire and the smoke. They have 2 frag grenades, 3 flashbangs. They can tear the bombs out of basement when they get there, but they will do so with 1 less gun at their disposal. See the strike from both walls and freezer opened up, so deep lines of sight in towards the bomb site itself means less cover for the attackers as well as the defenders of both teams. Keep barriers basically being deployed like deployable shields to create cover and angle for the defenders to use against the enemy as well. Heroic, they gotta figure out the locations of the enemy, then figure out how to deal with them. 2 frag grenades, 3 flashbangs, and capital fire is what they have to work with.
Plenty of utility to tackle this bomb site. Time starting to run out, though. Down below the minute mark. Uno will call for the rest of the team. Bait out the magnets. It's crucial that nothing stops these fire and smoke arrows from getting to their target. Uno takes a lot of damage in the process of pulling this one off. Toxic canister goes. Grizzly drops. He's got the diffuser. He'll have to sprint on through, but he's taking way too much damage, and Grizzly in the midst of it is going to die, planting in the toxic gas. But Kendra's been down, and Savage is gone as well. So it's a 3v3. Still winnable for both of these teams. For Heroic, that's a 7-0. For Team Secret, it's ideally the hopes of a comeback. Down goes Astro, down goes Slevin. Heroic putting in work, but Grubby says something about it. Uno creeping up. 2 players to be found, both low HP. Can he get there in time? He's looking on the wrong side of the wall, and Kendra gets the final 2 kills.
Just one. One by one.
One by one.
A comeback starts with a single round, and that's what Secret's got. Obviously, it's a monumental task to win the next 5 in a row. But we've seen stranger things. The one thing I will say, the Secret, who've been howling at the moon after every single round victory, not there right now.
I think you actually mentioned that, Parker, early on Clubhouse. What would happen if this scenario were to present itself? How will all that energy that we heard earlier, how will that disperse into the night? Well, they've become very quiet so far. No longer as cocky when they win. Respect, perhaps, being presented here between the two teams more and more so, as they both realize that it's a tough matchup. Now, I spoke earlier of the issue with Oregon defense, which is that the bomb sites get gradually worse for the defenders, which is why a perfect bomb site rotation of winning 3 in a row is so damn important. And my point with this is, Secret Day 1, the arguably easiest bomb site first. That's the basement. Now they're gonna go Kids Bunk upstairs. A little bit worse for them. And if they win this round, then you go tertiary. And you gotta do that twice in a row to go 6-0, go into overtime. This is a very tall task ahead of them. And one mistake, and it's over. Uno had the power and hand on the Capital. Both members of Secret, but less than 30 HP, but that was a single bullet. It was a very close round despite being a 1 versus 2.
Oh, this one's going to be very, very quick. Joom starts things off with a kill. Astro in round number 8 finds his second. If Astro comes online, that can be all that it takes to close this match between the two teams. Heroic cannot be nervous. Heroic cannot let this anxiety build too much around winning. And yes, this might be a very defender-sided Oregon that we just have been watching happen. Didn't really know, but Heroic needs to slow it down. They still have their timeout. Team Secret used their timeout all the way back at the tail end of round number 2. Ages ago. Yeah. Then they had timeouts in both rounds 3 and 4 when they were in the 1v5.
I suppose that's true as well, actually, yeah. If there was one member that Joom could have killed on that entry that would give you the most value, that would be Kenjo in the smoke, quite frankly. I mean, Toxic Babes off the board, you buy yourself like 30-45 seconds extra to the attack inside because the toxic gas is now gone. Second option would be the Warden, of course, immune to flashbangs and smokes, but it won't matter because Grubby and the rest of Team Secret are hitting their shots again activated on the board, which means Heroic, they gotta really fight for these rounds.
Got House of Cards right now collapsing. Maybe in a bit slower motion now. Sloth and Grizzly, as we said, the 2 animals on the team. Will once again work together. But we'll have to deal with a bomb site that is not very friendly to the teams that are down numbers. If you're an attacker or if you're a defender trying to retake, if you do not have a numbers advantage, you're in a bad spot. Nitro Cell goes up. There's no target found for it. Nobody even close. Sloth's last man standing now for Heroic as Grubby gets the kill onto Grizzly. And Grubby, what a massive round from him. Take it 1 round at a time.
Yep.
And that's exactly what Twister is saying to his players, and that's what it seems to be what they're doing.
And it's the only way to go about it. You're not supposed to be like, we won 1, but there's like 4 more to go. No, they don't. Like, you look at it short term. You look at what's in front of you each and every single round in a vacuum. Because when you think about it, 6 in a row, that's kind of hard. Like, that's a really, really tall order. But winning 1 round, that's very doable. And you gotta win 1 round in 6 different individual occasions in a row, and then you're there. But this right here is going to be the biggest challenge of them all, essentially. the tertiary bomb site. You have two options. Heroic, they opted for the kitchen and meeting bomb site twice, but Team Secret will opt for the kitchen dining bomb site instead. And it plays around either the small tower extension, which Secret is showing us right here, or what Heroic did, the big tower extension across the map. So you really have two different big characteristics that defines these tertiary bomb sites, and they both have something to do with a tower. Now, Secret, they can fight for their lives wherever they would like to, and Heroic can then challenge small tower, go for roam clear, vertical destruction, etc. They can roam around in basement with the Nurk that we saw from Doom last time, just coming up somewhere and striking from behind. Question really is, what would you like to do, because you have so many options as either team?
First time we're seeing this bomb site as well.
That is correct.
The tertiary, when it was Heroic on defense, was that meeting kitchen. Meeting is obviously the connector between these two bomb sites. Very similar to the last round, Heroic are looking for that quick entry. Noodle's already in, Jume's not too far behind. Will they find anybody above? Putting a soft destructor upstairs inside of dorms is invaluable, and many would argue a requirement to take this bomb site.
Yeah, I mean that's the entire foundation of the strat is a soft destructor up above, right? You tear the bomb site apart from above, you deny important player positions like where Kendra is right now. He does have a C4 in pocket. If you find this sledge, that would be absolutely massive for Team Secret. And Kendra, he can kind of slither around right now until there's too much pressure. With this hatchment open up, well, that is too much. Off he goes. Sloth should now be safe to do more destruction above. The question now is, the flank from Secret, or will Heroic capture them around the map? Because right now, Grizzly inside a big tower is holding Grubby and meeting somewhat here with the knowledge of that position.
A reminder that that's not the bomb site. Oh, Jume, a bit of a jump scare. Slevin is right there, and now Grubby jumps on him. Grubby has come online the last couple rounds, and there's no doubt in anybody's minds that Secret are thriving because of Grubby's success. You have to isolate him. There's a bit of a brief pause for Heroic as they learn how to tackle meeting. They don't have very much information. They have next to no drones, so they're gonna have to do this blind.
Yep, gunfights, gunfights, gunfights. I somehow wish for Heroic's side that somebody was helping Jume in these battles because he's fighting so many people at once. But 1-for-1 trade is arguably favorable. However, it's Grubby you want to aim for right now if you can shut anybody down from Secret. Heroic, they got 50 seconds left to work with, and they don't have to worry about the roamers. They could just hit the side.
The players who are designed to pinch Grubby are stalling out right now, and now Grubby's got yet another pick. This is huge for Team Secret. They were at a disadvantage. They have now made it work for them. Noodle will engage with Grubby, and Grubby wins yet again. How is he pulling this off? There could be yet another. A 4K eludes him. But Sloth gives information away. They know he's at the back of kitchen. They know he's inside a meeting. He and Uno staring down the three players from Secret. Savage have retaken from above.
15 seconds left.
Uno's in. They don't know. Sloth doesn't know that there's somebody above. A beautiful shot from him. Diffuser going down. Kendrew gets in, takes out Sloth, and now Uno as well. For good measure, Secret have won 3 in a row. These teams, they're streaking right now. 6 rounds in a row for Heroic, 3 for Team Secret as the comeback begins to become more and more realistic.
The only thing that worries me for Team Secret is that this is the Grubby show. I mean, sure, Kendry gets a kill in there, Savage, whatever, etc. But Grubby's spending 3 or 4 Ks back-to-back here. Heroic, they will call their tactical timeout. I'm curious what they have to say about this lead slipping away.
Not only 1 or 2, because Duke hits it, and then everything stops. Either we commit as a team, or we don't. We play fucking structure, and we take them 1 by 1. 1 out of 2. At least the way I see it, that would benefit us. If someone went with June there, we would have had full control. That's what I mean. 1 plan, boys, 1 commitment, do 1 thing together. No fucking fancy bullshit now. Let's fucking go, boys. Hey, let's fucking go. Positivity. Let's fucking go.
Let's fucking go. 1 round, boys. 1 round. Yeah.
1 round, that is the story of this matchup so far. And Master Officer pointed out a very similar trait of what I was saying earlier, where if one person was helping Doom out in those battles, that can change the tide because, again, Doom gets the initial kill, gets punished by Grobby. No one's there to punish back. And then a very specific note to the leader of the team of Uno is that we need to lead this team either doing 1 versus 1 stuff where we're all going kind of crazy, or we go together as a 5-man unit. We cannot play both sides of the table. And this is not just a heroic specific thing. This is a general thing for pretty much every single team in Rainbow Six Siege where you need to be on the same page with how you approach the rounds and the strategical elements of the game on every single map. And we often see this from the best teams in the world. They're on the same page. And we always used to say back in my day that 5, excuse my language, idiots following a bad plan is better than 5 idiots not having a plan at all. So essentially, just being on the same page can get you so much further in these rounds and in these moments. And we spoke in the very beginning of this, the basement attack and operators that are great to bring. Glass was mentioned. Glass is being shown now. Of course, that's one set of smokes on Glass, a second smoke on the Capital smoke arrows. The one thing that I'm finding very, very interesting is that it's Doom. Of all the players in the squad, I mean, I know Uno has the Capital, that's what he does, but Doom is on the Glass duty. He's been the nuke, the backstabber, the interplayer, the aggressor for Heroic. Now, he's got to take a back seat while they roam clear, then hit the side and lead the charge in the execute instead. Noodle is going to take the reins instead in the Ash, do that entry work. Doom is droning! I've never seen this before, I think. He's droning the first 40 seconds, not entering. Beautiful sight, I will say.
Another just number to look at.
Yeah?
Those opening picks.
Oh yeah, I mean...
In the last 3 rounds, Secret has either had an uncontested opening pick or traded. This one might be a little bit different. Savage and Astro, who play very pivotal roles for this team, have not been able to find the score sheet much at all. Savage, especially on Smoke, a high priority target. You talked about it when it was Kendra on the Smoke, who died early. Now it's Savage on the Smoke, who's gone. You saw in the previous defense of Laundry Supply for Team Secret how those toxic canisters not just slowed down Heroic, but ultimately killed the plant from being able to go down. You're not going to have that same result this time because it's the Smoke who's off the board.
Doom, despite my monologue, just went in and destroyed Savage with a Baron 9, and the one thing that is positive for Team Secret from that result is that now they know Glass is being played from Heroic. That's an attacker repick. They had no idea about this, but because it was Doom who got the kill into Savage, they know Glass being played. They know when those smokes come out, you can't swing them. That's a danger zone. Goyo Fire, the only thing that can stop a plant. There are no C4s. Slevin has 2 impact grenades, but that's not really going to matter in the grand scheme of things, I doubt. Now you have Magnets and Jaeger ADSs. If you are unlucky as Heroic or don't clear it correctly, they could catch those very precious smoke grenades and stall the execute.
Secret still has utility right now. I don't know if that was exactly what they wanted on the door frame, but the Glass of Doom is going to be an interesting operator to watch. There's a log jam inside a freezer at the moment. Grubby, the raid boss, he's been taken out. Noodle exploiting that defense. Going down through blue. Nobody seems to see him coming. Utility's been expended from Uno, at least some of it, as the fire arrow continues to go off.
The diffuser's above. No one has diffuser right now.
That wasn't a fire arrow. That was actually the Goyo canister. That's big, but Uno's dead anyway, so there will be no utility to spare there. 2 kills from Astro, but Sloth finds the opening. Kendra is down. Astro is a single point away, but his 3rd kill will be it. Heroic. They let Team Secret take those 3 rounds before picking the lead back up and closing out the series. It was close against Dark Zero yesterday, and it was close on map 1 against Team Secret today, but Heroic get the job done. 8-7 on Team Secret's map pick of Clubhouse, and then 7-3 on their own map pick, and now 7-3 on Secret's map pick.
Yeah. And mentality-wise, Heroic looking a lot more positive and kind of figuring that the mentality is like yesterday against Dark Zero might have been an issue for them. They recognized that, they fixed that for today, and again, the endurance from Heroic, they just fight it every single round, and this time today, they got better with time, whereas yesterday, it seemed that the longer Dark Zero could stall the game for, the worse they ended up getting. The opposite for Secret. The longer this went on for, the worse it looked for them. Except for Grob, who had that last moment of power and really tried to bring it home for Secret.
Every single group is tough.
Yeah.
But for Team Secret, you know Heroic. You should be able to match up against Heroic. It's an unknown against the other squads, right? And if Team Secret really are coming in and they just want to play loose and have fun, we saw that in Game 1. We didn't see it in Game 2. In Game 2, it was business as usual, like every other team. And obviously, Kendrew and the rest of Team Secret here, not exactly the happiest with their results, but there is some laughter, some smiles on their faces, which is always nice to see, other than maybe
I was gonna say
Kendrew, who looks quite annoyed.
Yeah. It's also their first game at this event, right? They had yesterday off, so this was their debut at the Six Invitationals.
Yeah, every team has a bye week or a bye game, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that there's 5 teams in each group, and you can't do a 2v2 and then a 2v3. It doesn't work that way, you know?
No.
So, anyway, congratulations to Heroic. They come close to toppling DZ yesterday, and now they topple Team Secret today.
Uno giving thumbs down. Or towards Secret being like, "Wah."
Not wanting to be a part of the picture with the rest of his team, it would seem like.
Yeah.
I'm not a big
I mean, that's...
Believe it or not, I'm not a big photo guy.
No, I've come to learn that, which is interesting seeing you actually do work on camera for a living. But hey.
Yeah, I mean, it is a bit funny because I'm constantly on a camera, but I do not like pictures of me being taken. Not huge on that.
That's fair.
But Heroic keeps winning.
Yeah.
They're going to keep having photos of them get taken.
That's true.
Uno, you're going to have to be prepared for it. That's it for you and I casting today, but there's another game to watch. Before we get there, the desk is going to want to talk about that matchup, so let's have them do it. Enough with us. Take care. We'll see you soon.
I'm Nicholas Mortensen, but you know me as Pingu. I'm a 2-time Rainbow Six Siege World Champion and former top Rainbow Six Siege player in Pro League. Welcome to my Siege Ranked Bootcamp. We're talking 20 seconds left on the clock, you got the diffuser in hand, what do? Play the way that you're comfortable with, because you have confidence when you're in this position. That is when you're gonna be at your very best. Good luck.
Well. Not a very strong showing for Secret, just to be candid. Okay, so first map, it was a pretty tight battle, am I wrong? I don't really have words for map 2. A little bit of a comeback there, but honestly, it was a little bit hard to watch at times, Anne, and apparently a very vocal play area from what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Fresh and I were set back at production, and we could hear the player comms, and it was a constant back and forth of players yelling at each other. It could be anything, really, even if they did something well, even if someone got entry killed, and then someone, like an enemy team didn't hit their shots, they would still yell back at them, and it felt like a very grudge-heavy match.
There's not a lot that we can repeat that they were shouting at each other, unfortunately. But there were a couple. One of them was go back to FPL Doom, and there was another one that was Murat during the timeout. Mr. Officer during the timeout said, "We're better than this, boys."
Yeah.
Savage had his headset off and he shouts, "No, you're not." And it was like theatre over there.
Oh my gosh, the intensity, right?
Yeah, I think it was a very emotionally charged map 1 for both teams.
Yeah. And speaking about map 1, we have the summary up on screen right now, and actually that is map 2. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. We'll just go into map 2 then. So this was Secret's map pick. Oregon wasn't Borgen. It was hard to watch, but it was kind of one of those situations where you couldn't stop watching. Am I wrong?
I think it was ugly, to be fair. Some ugly siege going on in Oregon. And I think we did talk about that, how emotionally charged that first game was. And I think particularly Secret is that they put a lot of emotional energy into winning map 1. As soon as they didn't, they found it very hard to recover. That, in terms of that fortitude that you need to try and recover that. Obviously, they went 0-6 down. Tried to drop a little comeback in there, only got 3 rounds on the defense until Heroic finally took one. And yeah, I was saying to Anne, quite early on in Oregon, I think the writing's on the wall here.
So, I mean, frankly, this was almost a blowout. They did have their little comeback at the end there. And was this a mental breakdown, mechanical breakdown? Would you say both?
Well, something that really impressed me from Heroic in both this map and the previous map is their retakes when it comes down to when Secret have the plan down. We know that Secret's a plan heavy or a very objective-focused team. They like to get their plans down, but then every single time when it came down to that situation and Heroic had to retake, their comms and their teamwork were on point. We could listen to those as well, obviously, backstage, but you could hear them communicating and really prioritizing, like, oh, there's someone still upstairs, like, we need to retake upstairs before we can go for a counter defuse. So they had their priority straight, and their retakes were really good today.
So you're saying Heroic played well, particularly when it came to retakes, but I mean, Fresh, do you think that this was just a breakdown on Secret's end, I guess, or do you think Heroic was just playing very well?
It definitely is a bit of both. I think when we look at map 1, I think it's really important that we split map 1 away from map 2. Map 1 on Clubhouse was basically Secrets to lose, and Heroic made some massive plays. I know June made a massive play, Noodle made a massive play, and Sloth made a massive play where they're pulling up 2, 3, 4 kills in a round to win the round. Heroic limped over the line in map 1. As soon as we get to map 2, then that's where Heroic had settled into it. They knew, boys, were better than these. We can beat them. They played much more as a team. They converted those entry kills. They got the post plants, like you say, the retakes as well, Anne. And I think it was a much more complete performance from Heroic on map 2.
Okay, so Jack, I do want to pick your brain about Kendrew.
Yeah.
You said that this is a key player. He's very emotional. I feel like on map 1, in ways you could say he was riding a high. They lost, right? But they were going. Map 2, do you think that he just deteriorated maybe a little bit?
I think it's both. I mean, Kendrew, we've seen Kendrew for the longest time. He was on Eminem, Na'Vi. He was on Heroic. And now he's on Secret. And I think one thing that's always been leveled at Kendrew across his time as a player is that he can't operate in that middle ground. He's either really, really high, emotionally charged, or he's really, really low and potentially a detriment to his team. And I think we saw both out of him today. Obviously, it's been a long time since we've seen him internationally, and some of these players are brand new to International Siege, and I think that affected Secret too much today.
Okay. Anne, any standout players for you? We're working to get the MVP up, so I want to see who's running around in your head. You're like, okay, we'll give them an award.
In regards of people that I heard talking constantly, it has to be Sloth. He's really vocal in the game, giving call-outs, helping his team, really, forcing them in the right direction. I've seen some really good performances from Noodle as well. On the other side, we did see previously in EUL some shakes coming from the newer players on the side of Secret. That seemed to be okay today. There were some gunfights on both sides that were missed a little bit, but yeah, for Heroic, definitely those two that I would mention.
Okay, well, I believe our MVP is Joom. Thoughts?
When I worked with June, because I was actually on a team with June back, the middle of last year, nothing phases that kid. It really doesn't. He is just.
He's doing a Vogue pose right now.
You'd almost be, you'd almost forgive him for being just absolutely oblivious to anything that goes on.
Aww.
He feels no pressure. He just plays his game. Doesn't matter who's in the server with him. Just plays his game, and he's an incredibly talented player.
Yeah, I think I saw this in an interview that they did with Mr. Officer, where he talked about Joom and said Joom is a old man captured in a young body, and he doesn't really get fazed by anything, like you mentioned, but he's also extremely motivated. And we did see that today. Huge performance by him, really getting in those kills where it was needed.
Okay, so how are we feeling about Heroic overall? I mean, not a terrible showing from them. How do you think their SI is going to shape up for us?
I think when people saw the news that Oscar wasn't coming out and that Heroic were playing with a sub, that they thought, oh, Heroic would be potentially fifth in this group, me included.
Yeah.
But the fact that they went and took a map off DZ yesterday should have won it out in 2. And then today they've gone against Secret, who looked pretty good in LCQs, and took them in 2 maps as well, sitting on 5 points. You'd have to assume at this point Heroic are going to get out of groups into playoffs and can make actually a sustained challenge for the top 3 to get themselves into that upper bracket.
How are you feeling about Secret? Is this going to be a short trip to SI this year?
Well, we've seen teams yesterday where we had a lot of expectations from, and then they didn't really perform the way we were expecting them to do. This was obviously Secret's first game, right? They hadn't played yesterday. There is obviously still enough time to regain. This is a big loss, like you're not getting any points out of this, but there is time to regain, and I've got my fingers crossed that they will do that.
It's their first match, right? So, okay, we'll see. And it's SI. You never know, right? Okay, well, everyone watching at home, do not go anywhere. We have some more Siege action ahead, but we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.